In 4 seasons as coach of the most powerful football team of the 80s and early 90s, Alan Joyce enjoyed the spoils that come with success at the highest level. The relentless drive, the unsmiling facade, the constant pressure, the desire to be number one. All factors in the Joyce persona in that golden era at Hawthorn. Today, Joyce is no longer the man to be feared, the man to be obeyed. Hawthorn, no longer the club by which all others are measured. Today, in separate games half a continent apart, Joyce and Hawthorn continue that bid to be the best. How times have changed. While Hawthorn rest uneasily on the bottom of the AFL ladder for the first time since the late 70s and look to former champion Peter Knights for guidance, Joyce has been thrust into the role as coach of Footscray. Like Knights, the old and familiar taste of glory has been missing. Today from Adelaide and Perth, their quests continue. 7 Sport is proud to present an AFL doubleheader, an afternoon of football for your enjoyment.
Good afternoon and welcome to Football Park in Adelaide, and it is really a summery afternoon, pardon the shirt sleeves, but it is a hot one here in Adelaide for a game of football between the Adelaide Crows and Footscray. Perhaps not an impossible task for Footscray. They have won here before. They did it a couple of years ago. 2 games on today, not only this one in Adelaide, but also Hawthorn playing the West Coast Eagles at Subiaco Oval. And at half-time of this game in Adelaide, we'll be crossing over to Subiaco and speaking to Peter Knights as he prepares to get the Hawks off the bottom of the ladder, if he can, in the game against the West Coast Eagles. Also in shirt sleeves this afternoon, good afternoon, Ross Glendinning.
I think I brought this from Perth, Drew. It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's unbelievable.
My word. And I think Footscray are pretty well prepared for this game, Drew. I thought they performed very, very well last week against North in their last quarter. For the sake of, Alan Joyce said, 1.5 minutes of football in 2 games, they've lost. So I think they're battling pretty well.
Well, they lost their first game, but they won their first game, lost their last 3, but by a point to Collingwood,
yep,
and took it right up to North last week.
As we look here at the Adelaide side, who I saw last week, and I thought they were terrific, particularly in the last quarter. And a player like Chalmers, who came on into the ruck in that last quarter, was very, very good, taking marks in the back half, kicking long down forward and across their centre line, of course, was just outstanding with 5 players picking up 30-odd touches. So a big task for Footscray, but I think they might give it a bit of a shake.
And Chalmers, who was named as an emergency, we believe, is in the lineup, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes. And what about Footscray? Doug Hawkins was a last-minute scratching at training on Friday night.
Well, I felt sorry for Dougie because kicked 3 last week, and it was quite a good performance. Mark Hunter, the acting captain last week, I thought was possibly their best player. And a lot still relies, I think, on Chris Grant. He still hasn't really stepped up. Liberatoria will always do well, and Osborne, I thought, a surprise selection.
Well, the crowd is still building up. It's not jam-packed. Maybe the early starters fooled a few of them. They might be still out in the traffic. We'll be back here shortly and be speaking to the injured Footscray captain, Scott Wind. Right up. Oh, good effort, you, mate. Now, Scotty.
G'day, Drew.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Not too bad.
All right. Now you, reclining at home, are you?
Yeah, that's right. Just watching the footy. I might head up to Mum and Dad's for a while.
Right.
After this.
Oh, you're in the backyard, are you?
Yeah, that's right.
The Hawk didn't make the trip, did he? So he'd be watching too.
Yeah, no, he's. I saw him yesterday at the reserves match. He's pretty dirty on it. I mean, 17 years of league football and not doing your hamstring.
He's never done a hammy before?
No, not as far. He can't remember. It's been a long time if he has.
Yeah. Wow. So you were knee and then you rolled your ankle. That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, I had the knee operated on in February, then rolled the ankle in the first match against Richmond.
Right.
And then the other knee started playing up the weeks after that. So it's just sort of going downhill very quickly.
What, Mark Hunter, he's about, what, 4th in line or something?
Yeah, it seems that way. Steve McPherson and Simon Atkins are playing in the 2s, and Mark's...
Oh, actually, Roscoe's left. Do you want Roscoe in on this? Oh, OK. Do you want to sit in on this, Roscoe? With Scotty Wind? Oh, yeah, it does, yeah. 2.
Just fix your hair up.
He's never done his hair in his life. Look. Okay, yep.
Test to see what you had to drink last night.
Hey, it's not last night, it's what I got it, eh?
Yes, mate, how's that sounding for a few words for Czech? Is that all right? Chris Grant just getting some oil on his arm. Scotty, can you hear me here, mate? Ross Glendinning.
G'day, Ross.
You got me, mate?
Yep,
Good on you.
Welcome back to Football Park in Adelaide, and the Crows have just made their way onto the ground. Footscray already out there. A hot day over here, but one player Footscray will be missing is captain for the year, Scott Wine, who has got a complication of injuries, ankle and knee, and he joins us from home in Melbourne. Afternoon, Scotty.
G'day, Drew.
Well, it's a shame that you're missing now. Exactly what is the condition and how long will you be out?
Well, it's a couple of injuries. I had the knee operated on in February, which we probably rushed back a little bit, and then in the first game against Richmond I rolled the ankle, so that didn't help, and then in the weeks after that the left knee started playing up a little bit too, so it's very hard trying to get through a match with one injury, but when you've got two or three and you're not fully fit, you just can't do it.
So is it the sort of thing you need rest?
Sorry?
You need rest, is that it?
Basically, for the last 2 weeks all I've been doing is swimming and a lot of boxing, so keeping off the legs and just giving the time to recover.
Scotty, has it been much of an adjustment to make to the Alan Joyce style of coaching as against Terry Wheeler?
There has been a bit of a change there. New coach brings in new ideas, and Alan's a very straightforward coach. He, during training, he just gets out there, does the job. There's not as many support staff around during training, and unfortunately I've missed the last match, so I can't really comment on his coaching during the match very well, but as I said, there has been some changes, and I think they're starting to come through now, and Footscray have become a better side.
Yes, we heard the support staff had been reduced, and Bernie Quinlan, who was a kicking coach, he's not there as much.
No, we have a skills night on Wednesday night where only certain players are required to turn up, and I think Bernie's comes down there on the Wednesday night, so Alan just prefers himself and Terry Wallace to be out on the ground and in control of it all.
Scotty, what about some of the younger players who have come in and have acquitted themselves very well? What about some of the more senior players that haven't been able to come through this year so far for various reasons, like Super McPherson, Simon Atkins? How are they shaping up?
I saw the first half of the seconds match yesterday, and they were both doing reasonably well in that. Super, unfortunately, just has had a persistent thigh injury, which when he starts putting a couple of matches together, unfortunately he just breaks down again. And Simon has had a couple of weeks in the twos to get himself together again, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks they'll be back in the seniors along with myself.
Well, there's a new order at Footscray. Scott Wine, new captain. There's a new coach now, Alan Joyce. All the best of luck to you, and well, I hope you can show that Brownlow medal winning form again when you come back.
Thanks, Drew.
Okay, thanks for joining us. Scott Wine at home in Melbourne, and a game of football about to start here in Adelaide in very warm conditions. We'll be back with you soon.
State of origin, state of war. South Australia at home to Victoria on Tuesday, May the 3rd.
And we're back at Footy Park. Well, there has been some conjecture about the lineup of the Adelaide Crows, and to fill us in, here's Neil Curley. Afternoon, Neil.
Good afternoon, Drew. Yes, there is one change. Tony Hall is not out on the ground, and his place has been taken by Chalmers, who played so well in the last quarter last week. It'll be interesting to see who they line up out that forward pocket, whether they go for a tall or whether they go for a smaller running player. And they've only got the three small ones in McGuinness, Liptak and Brown that they can use as the runners. So I think Graham Corns would want to keep one of those up his sleeve, because as we all know, it is a warm day. It's about a 28-degree summer's day, and they'll need the quickness towards the end, because fitness today will play a very important part in this game.
What about a selection?
Well, naturally, I think everybody knows who I tip. I'm going to tip the Crows. I think they're the better side, but I'm anticipating a very tough, hard opening by the Footscray boys. They've worked very hard in the last 2 weeks and gone very close to winning. I expect them to come out with all guns blazing, throw everything at the Crows players, try and get a nice start, but I think the Crows will absorb that, and in the last half, last quarter in particular, come out the winners.
On your curls, and it's a very good afternoon, and welcome to Ian Robertson.
Good on you, Drew. And just noticing now that the interchange players are breaking away from their respective team lineups. That's Tasker, Pittman and Brown for the Crows, and Ross, we're looking at the Footscray boys. It might be
Robbie
Sexton,
West is one, Sexton and Rowan Smith.
So, look, I think that Geelong showed us something last week which was quite novel. It got a lot of press about Malcolm Blight lining up his players near the opposition entrance to the ground. And it was basically, from what I can read, designed to make sure that the visiting team didn't allow the Crows to get off to a good start. Now, that's obviously going to be Footscray's prime objective, is to make sure they're fairly close at quarter time I give them some chance, but I think Adelaide will win a good game.
Umpires in charge, Hayden Kennedy,
Here we
Gerard
go.
Walsh and Anton McKernan.
Yep.
Just to change those interchanges, it's Craig Ellis, not Sexton, for Footscray.
So the game about to start, and it should be a really good one. We'll look with a lot of interest at the start of this match, because Footscray have put in 2 very good performances under their new coach, Alan Joyce. Grigic is beaten for it by Wren. McGuinness can't get past, and the ball will be bounced once again. Liberatore appealing for a free kick, but nothing happening.
Here's an interesting one, Ross. Ellis started on the bench and he's about to come on in the first minute.
Yes, obviously Alan Joyce not happy with his match-up through the centre, so the runners out there making a change. We'll inform you of that when we get the player's name who's coming off.
And the umpire to bounce once again, Grigic, who started the game so brilliantly last week against North Melbourne. Anderson can't get past. Cameron is the tackler. The ball held in, and still, Liberatore asserting his... well, he's got a bit of strength in that tiny little body, Tony Liberatore, and he's letting the Crows players know all about it in the early part of the game. And Roscoe, looks like Watts, is it?
Yeah, Jason Watts, yes.
So we come out of the middle. It's Anderson for the Crows, up towards centre half forward. Bit of jostling there, no whistle, the crowd wanted it. It's grabbed by Costa. An ex-South Australian back home today. Kicked by Kim Costa, up over centre wing. Sexton takes the mark. Thorpe leads, a re-inclusion this week. The kick's not going in his direction. Well, it should have, because it went straight to his opponent, or it goes to Rouvray, Visca, who takes the mark. Was his opponent. They're out of trouble. What a perfect kick to half-back plate. Bickley, leading possession winner in the competition. Up towards half-forward, smart wrestling. A punch from behind by Stanfield. Little hand pass back goes to Wiedemann. Now Anderson. Anderson comes out wide. Chance for Groom, 55 metres out. Kick is touched. Chalmers on the turn, takes an off break and just misses.
Change also been made by Graham Corns. Looks like Jamison's coming off. Tasker to go on, reshuffling his lineup as well.
Very good gather there by Chalmers on the half volley. Short kick, and the mark for Footscray taken by Peter Quill, who had the football a fair bit there last Saturday against North Melbourne. The kick in short, Cameron. He was relatively quiet, I thought, Leon Cameron. Good kick, though, down the wing, and an excellent mark taken by Wren. He was out of position. Stanfield had the sit, but Wren went for it and took it. McGuinness, we think, may not be 100%, but that kick is good, up near the 50-metre line. Punched away. Groom loved the look at him, and a brilliant kick. Mogra moved about 4 metres, and Groom's perception there was first class.
Poor Brad Nicholson had gone to his left initially, which gave Modra that space. And Groom, who's been very good in the early opening, finds Modra as Jamison is back on. Tasker to come back off. Jamison, when he came off, went straight to the phone.
Modra kicks for goal, and he's got the first goal. So Adelaide 1-1 lead. Footscray yet to score in the early part of this game. An important one for both sides. Adelaide to assert their position in the top 5, and of course Footscray endeavouring to get a win out of their last 4 games.
Robbo, you mentioned there with Tony McGuinness perhaps a shade underdone. He's got some strapping around the top of his right thigh, just under his short, so either a niggling groin or just a niggle on the top of the hammy. I would suggest the groin would be the one.
Good start by the Crows. They lead 7-0. Clean possession, smallest man on the field, Liberatore. He's given the hand pass to a 50-50 contest, and it's a ball up. Tony McGuinness, of course, who played 109 games for Footscray, won their best and fairest in 87 against his old team today. Grigic with the gloves. He made such a great start last week. That's McGuinness getting the kick out of a big pack. Smart, horrific mark. He just wrestles Stanfield off.
Here's the player who I mentioned last week in the contest that just has been a bit flat in the last few weeks, but they've got away with winning games without him being a major contributor. But he makes such a difference if he does fire at centre half forward.
Nigel Smart. From outside 50, a calm, warm day. It's right. Crows are 1-2.
Ross, is Nigel Smart's best position for the Crows at centre-half forward or centre-half back?
Well, at the moment, Rob, over their structure with Jamison doing so well at centre-half back, and I think you know, they need someone like Smart at centre-half forward. I like that setup at the moment.
Chalmers has opened up
very well,
impressively. A good possession early in the game, and now a good mark running back with the flight of the ball, and he'll have a shot for goal. This will be his second. The first one was on the run. This one set from 50 metres. Gee whiz, he gives it a decent old roost. But in endeavouring to get the distance, the accuracy not there, so Brett Chalmers 2 behinds to his name, and the Crows 1-3 lead Footscray yet to score, and Graham Corn's going incognito this afternoon.
Yeah, Chalmers has started well. He would have had more publicity just about than any player before he played his first AFL game. He and Buckley, I suppose. No mark here. Liberatore at the foot of the pack. Gets a free kick. Crowd not happy. High tackle. Don't have to be very high to get him high. Kick over the centre of the ground. Jamison goes the spoil from behind. Collingham, good hand pass in. It sits up all right. But the kick is very disappointing. Crediuk. Solid body work. Hart gets the ball out, and the Crows now off and running. Broom. Up to Smart. It clears him. The run of Liptak. No free kick. Smart didn't hear the tackler coming. So Footscray teamed up on them then. They had 3-2 and won the day.
Cameron's kick, good selection. Went for the longer player in that line, and it was Crediuk, and he's taken the mark. Ellis, the other Footscray player. Crediuk runs around and gets it near the 50-metre line. No mark taken. Thorpe a chance. Kicked off the ground, Jamison. McGuinness hand pass a little bit too fierce. Footscray forwards working overtime to keep the ball there. It's Sexton. A hook kick up in the Osborne direction. Osborne and Ben Hart. Osborne quickly onto his boot. Shrugs the tackle. Goes for goal. And he may have put it through. Goal! Richard Osborne, well played. Bit of strength in his body. Broke the tackle and scored.
And that a bit of strength also too, Robbo. We just see this Jamison just a fumble again, just a greasy ball, perhaps with a bit of sweat on it, so going to be difficult to handle with these hot conditions. And here Osborne keeps Ben Hart at bay, just with that left shoulder, and then recovered very nicely, as Robbo said. And it's a very good goal.
Well, Footscray went forward once, and their new forward, Richard Osborne, kicked them a goal. Crediuk takes it out of the middle. They're going all right, Footscray. They're tackling very hard. Long kick by Crediuk. Osborne at the back. A juggle. No mark. Snap goal. Offline for a behind. Yes, a behind to Osborne. 1-1. Leading goal kicker at Fitzroy 5 times. And once in a game for Sydney last year, he kicked 10 and got them their only win of the year. And now, at his 3rd club in 3 years.
There's a few Melbourne supporters wouldn't like you reminding them of that, Drew.
Yeah, I know.
Probably cost them a position in the finals. Adelaide forced the ball up to the left-hand point of the square. Groom, a little bit of intelligence there. Got it back to McGuinness. McGuinness's kick. Oh, Chalmers missed it. Lip tap back to Chalmers. Chalmers in the pocket. Kick may bounce into the square. It does. Modra. Oh, great smother. Terrific smother there. And Nicholson's tackle on Modra is rewarded, and I think Nicholson, you did exceptionally well in that contest.
They played 2 of them.
Yes, that smother was outstanding, Robbo. You're quite right there. Desperate stuff.
Ken goes short into the square, but that's a bit risky, so decides to come along the boundary line. A good 50-metre kick. Well out of the danger area temporarily. Smart's handball. Intercepted by Crediuk. You're caught, you're gone. Great tackle, and I've already mentioned that I'm impressed with this young man. Only a handful of games so far, but a big future in front of him is Chris Groom. He's kicked towards full forward, unopposed. Out comes Chalmers, and Footscray seem to be concentrating too much maybe on Modra. And Chalmers in the pocket now has his 3rd shot at goal.
Yes, Danny Southern, the ex-Claremont player, has got the job on Chalmers with Nicholson picking up Modra, and he and also Steve Wallace there just spectating a little, just assuming that someone else would go.
Well, Chalmers surely will get this goal. It's accurate. He gets his first. So the Crows 2 goals 3, 15, lead Footscray by 8 points. The Bulldogs have kicked a goal, that coming from Richard Osborne.
Yes, and already Adelaide have got more possessions than Footscray, particularly this early part of the game. But more importantly, again, the use of those possessions has been much better. And that's what Alan Joyce has been trying to emphasise to the Footscray players in the last couple of weeks. You've been getting the ball, let's use it better and help your teammate out with your disposal.
Well, you can see how the players are sweating up. Look at Ilya Grigic about to go in against Wren. 50-50. Costa. Trouble for him. The umpire will ball it up. Adelaide 5th on the ladder with a 3-1 record, and Footscray 13th with a 1-3 record. But in head-to-head, Footscray are 3-2, and they won here in the opening round in '92 by 27 points. Under the pack, guess who? Liberatore. Off the ground goes McGuinness. Outside the centre square. First back after this is Ellis, young Craig Ellis, an 18-year-old. Costa, he was out, the ball was in. Crediuk, Costa again, Liberatore. Wrestled down by Bickley. Play on, says the umpire, and now no other decision to make than a ball up.
What I'm impressed with in today's football, Ross, we have a look at the weather. Current temperature 28, already exceeded the expected maximum, but the way the players just get on with the game, an umpiring decision given, there is hardly any protest.
Well, if they know, I mean, I've never seen an umpire change his mind, Robbo, so you're better off just forgetting about it and playing on. You're quite right.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. And a good mark taken by Sexton, who was already proving to be a job to handle. He's kick into the left forward pocket. Osborne and Ben Hart. Ben Hart, well done. Good contest by Crediuk. He's also having an impression. And a free kick in his endeavours there, awarded to Rouvray. Rouvray in the left back pocket for the Crows. And a great scene at Football Park, which is we've come to expect. A full house out towards half back. In there was Southern. Grigic gets it to Hunter, back to Costa. Costa's kick is high, goes up near the 50-metre line. Out the back was Rashudo, couldn't take the mark. Handball out came from Schwert. Nearly found McDermott for his first effective possession, but Chris McDermott couldn't control it. And it goes over for a boundary throw-in. And those boys a little bit fortunate in the Footscray dugout with a bit of shade.
Yes, fancy. 28 degrees. Adelaide hot favourites. 8-1 on. Here's a high tackle, Footscray free.
Danny Southern's been moved up from the back pocket to pick up Groom on the half forward, and going back is Craig Ellis to pick up Chalmers, the fellow causing a bit of problems early.
Kick by Scott West to full forward. Osborne caught behind. Thorpe was there, didn't get a possession. Wren did. Now to McGuinness. Kick by McGuinness to centre wing. Groom taken off the front of the pack. Costa, impressive early. Hand pass into Grigic. Short pass is good. Off and running Footscray. Little Liver. The kick low on the bounce. Just about off the nose of Richard Osborne. To Wren. You're in trouble, Schwert. But he was quick enough. Back to Hart. Now to Anderson. And the exchange in defence has set up an attack. Smart now has it at half forward. At maybe 50, it was knocked out of his arms.
It's amazing. The kick there coming in was good for Smart, but down the other end with ordinary kick for Osborne.
And that's the difference, Robert, I was talking about, that Alan Joyce is trying to lift. Liberatore's kick to Osborne, not good enough. Vicky Verkert's better.
Now, Tony Modra has a chance to kick his second, but he's wide out. 45 metres out. And he's gone for the torpedo. Not the torpedo, the screw
banana.
Check side, as they call it here. And
Gets a lot of names, that kick, doesn't it?
Yeah. So Modra has 1-1.
Haven't quite come to grips with it, but well, it proves to be effective on a lot of occasions. This is Southern to kick in towards centre half back. Oh, big pack, good mark, Ilya, and he gets it to Liberatore. Runs his full distance and kicks it long too. In towards half forward. Footscray player that went was good, Chris Grant. Spills for Ben Hart. Ben Hart off the left foot a little too high. Oh, brilliant running. Terrific start for Rashudo. And a beautiful kick. Good hands. Groom is marked between the centre and centre half forward. Chris Groom goes long. Marking contest. Chalmers in front. And it's a holding decision against the Footscray defence. It will go to Modra.
Yes, Brad Nicholson, the fella there, just Modra did the right thing. He let Chalmers go for the jump, and in doing so, just here we see the little shepherd on Nicholson, and there's a retarding action there by that fellow, holding the jump around the waist. Free kick.
Well, already Modra, he's kicked one. So with 8 minutes left, he's kicked his second goal. Footscray must be wary in the remaining 8 minutes. 3-4 plays 1-1.
Yes, and that the concentration on Modra early in this game has allowed Chalmers to step up, and then they've then worried about Chalmers, and of course then Modra has become a bit of a problem. So it's a good two-pronged attack, and this fellow, Robbo mentioned earlier, Groom, he's been very good across half forward.
(3-4 to 1-1). The Crows do have the breeze in the first quarter. It's no wind, but an assisting breeze. Costa goes back. Southern, who's been moved up the ground. High, wide, not all that handsome. Rasciuto, who delivered a perfect pass to Groom a moment ago. Ball out of bounds, throw in. Now this crowd has built up. I reckon 10 minutes before the start, there were a lot of spaces, not too many now. I think they must have been caught in the traffic and fooled a bit by this early start. I think it's the one early start they have for the year.
Well, apparently, Drew, that all the seats now are reserved. People don't have to get here early. They can just relax and get in at the last minute.
Oh, Nigel Smart takes the mark inside 50. One of the great things about footy over here, the barbecue outside. You could be throwing down your last sausage with 5 minutes to the bounce.
Well, it feels like a barbecue in here, Drew, at the moment, I can assure you.
Could certainly take your attention off.
Good mark there by Smart.
How would Stanfield react to the performance against Carey? How could he recover in a week?
Well, he just has to.
Big job.
Kick by Smart. Plenty of distance offline. Well, if you're going to play centre-half back, you're going to line up on champion after champion, aren't you?
Well, you're going to have a chance at least through there to get a share of the footy. At least you're getting taken to the ball and you get a chance to get the cherry yourself.
The kick in by Southern. Out towards half-back, Groom gathers, gets his left foot to it. Fortunately lands with lip tap, but Footscray get clear from half-back. It's Liberatore, his little kick, not quite good enough. Oh, Sexton missed his target by a long way. And the kick forward by Bickley out towards right half-forward. Steve Wallace not really attempting to keep the ball inside. And a boundary throw-in will take place about 60 metres around from the Crows' goal. McGuinness looks as though maybe having a rest now. Wallace minding him at the moment. Ball spills for Anderson. Good kick. Lip tap. Couldn't quite get back. Quill it is for Footscray. Kicks it out into the path of Costa. The ball will sit. Costa's pretty quick. Tregenza couldn't catch him. And that kick was made a little bit better. Good mark taken by Scott West near the wing.
Yeah, Tregenza and Costa will be a bit of fun on that wing, the two number 12s. Here's Mark Hunter, the acting skipper. And Grant had his back to the ball, but turned around just in time to take the mark.
Ooh, very lucky that.
I think it was meant for the second bloke in line,
I think
Ross,
so, Rob. I think so.
Just went off like a mongrel and lobbed in his arms.
Yeah, just faded right.
Osborne was about 10 metres further up. Chris Grant. Oh, here would be a bit handy. As breeze takes an effect and it hits the hands in the goal square and through for a behind.
I was just looking at Bruce Lindsay, the Adelaide runner, out to Matthew Liptak before. Liptak was on hands on knees, looking rather distressed, and that's this heat. It might take its toll on some of these players. It is terribly oppressive, really, for this time of year.
This is Ben Hart. 5.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Sean Wren may be the target, and he goes long out towards the wing. Oh, high leap. Terrific mark by Jamison. Very skillful player. Kicks to the opposite half-forward area. Punched away from McGuinness by Wallace. Wiedemann. Anderson. Nearly tackled, but slips it. Goes for goal. Anderson's kick. Oh, Modra going back with no fear. Close to the behind post. We'll have a look at Jamison again.
Yes, he's a very athletic player and has played on the wing, on the ball now, centre half back. And I think he's, Robbo asked before, I think he can hold that position down for some time.
All Adelaide at the back. Wren. Bit slick for McGuinness, but his ball handling is superb. McDermott, bit quiet. Crow hand pass to Smart. The centre half forward. Chalmers is causing a real problem. Footscray free. Play was legged.
Bit fortunate.
Been taken by Ellis. Playing in his second game. Made his debut last week. The centre wing. And Wren was as though the kick was straight to him. Chris McDermott had time to look. There was no pressure. And then a shot kick. Pretty. Ellis. Hunter. And they work it around. Footscray. Now a longer kick to half forward. Grant outnumbered. The punch comes to the front. And a free kick to Grant.
I get the impression that Bullies might be going into a bit of a breeze looking at the flags on the outer side there. So if they can just hold the Crows up. Brilliant take by Ben Hart. Ross Glendinning impressed with that. And Ben Hart goes down the wing. And he's... No, what's happened there? Behind play, a free kick. Well, maybe a Footscray player being held behind after Ben Hart.
The umpire there, Robbo, looks as if he did go and indicate that there was holding on behind. So,
well, Footscray a little fortunate because they're going to gain about nearly 100 metres here. The ball was way down past the wing, and now the kick has been taken from the 50-metre line for the Bulldogs by Richard Osborne. Footscray get a goal in the dying minutes of this first quarter. Oh, terrific mark, Chris Grant. And we read in, I think, Inside Football during the week that someone said that the high mark has gone out of the game. Well,
which is ridiculous. They're obviously not watching the game because it's as good as it's ever been.
Don't you like to watch that sort of stuff?
That's what you come to the football for.
Chris Grant, a very, very talented player. 81 AFL games. And most of them have been quality games. A lot expected of this young man. And a good kick is a goal. Chris Grant kicks his first goal, and more importantly, Footscray get their second. They trail by just 9 points.
Yes, and they can just prove to themselves in that motion forward, even though it was perhaps a lucky free kick. The fact is that they can just hang on to the Crows dominating possessions at the moment, but with a couple of goals like that, you keep yourself in the game, and they must keep their head up and their confidence to that level.
Back in the middle, and just 9 points the margin. Scott West, his hand pass partly blocked. Liptak inside the 50 already, but the mark is taken by Sexton. Sexton towards the outer side of the ground. 2-1 Footscray here, so a big chance. But Costa is spoiled by Tregenza. It comes to Southern. He was out, and so was the ball, says the boundary umpire, and there'll be a throw-in. Look at that crowd jam-packed in over there and bathing in the sunshine like they're at the cricket. Cretiok has been a prominent player for Footscray. McDermott to Tregenza. The pass to Smart. No mark pole. It'll finish up being a baller. What do you reckon, Ross?
Well, the interpretation, that's where you come to problems, Drew, because there's 3 different umpires, 3 different interpretations on manhandling. Free kicks given one end, not the other. So it's a difficult one, very confusing.
Stanfield gets it down to Costa. Costa's kick to left half forward. Grant giving every indication that he's trying as hard as he can not to give a free kick away. But a Rashuto, and well, what's happened now? There's another queried free kick. But Rashuto decides to hand pass in towards centre half back, taken by Jamison, nearly taken by Groom. McGuinness in trouble, gets the handball away. Stephen Wallace underneath it, flips it out, little risky. Stanfield's handball, tap on by Ellis was good. Scott West delivers the ball up towards half forward, and falling over at the critical stage was Thorpe, taken by Visca. He kicks down the wing. Anderson, a good challenge here between 2 talented players. Leon Cameron wins out. He kicks up towards half forward, the ball at the back. The race is on now. Have a look at this little tiger get hold of it. He may outrun Visca. He gets one way, gets the other. 50 metres from goal. Disciplined kick to the front of the square, but skillfully done by Jamison, and he is awarded the mark. He plays on quickly to the left-hand side of the ground now. McDermott, Ben Hart, in ball to Rashuto. Brilliant running by Ben Hart. The Crows are away.
That is fantastic by Hart. Up to the 50. Smart, a real problem at centre half forward. But the kick a bit wide and out of bounds outside the 50. Just over a minute left at quarter time.
He did it well too, Drew, Ben Hart, because some players would have taken another couple of bounces and then you upset the flow of your forward line. All the leading players are then well out of position. He took the right number of bounces. Just a shame his kick wasn't more accurate.
Nigel Smart, 3 marks and 7 possessions at centre-half forward. He's in there again. It's flipped back by Liptak. West taken off it. Well, he didn't have the ball. And the free kick to West. Well, if they can go in at quarter time just 9 points down Footscray, they'll have done well. There is a breeze, left to right on the screen. Crows have had it first quarter. They know how to spoil and block it up. It's hard to do against Adelaide, but here's McGuinness. Good mark by Sutton. Cameron, one out with Anderson. Leon Cameron finished 6th in the Brownlow last year.
Yeah, I think he might have taken a step forward. However, it was a very good kick from Southern.
Well done by Leon Cameron. He moved it very quickly, and the mark is taken by Quill. Quill goes into the pocket. Will it be inside? No, it's out on the full. And Peter Quill puts his hands to his head in a little bit of disappointment. That Footscray attack looking quite promising. Only 30 seconds left in the first term, so maybe no further score added. Adelaide 3-5, Footscray 2-2, the margin 9 points. So Footscray haven't done themselves a lot of damage in this first term, mentioning that maybe they might be going with the breeze in the second quarter. Wiedemann couldn't quite control it, but he got the handball back to Anderson. Anderson's kick goes in near the centre of the ground. The ball rebounds. Overrunning at Wallace. Tregenza, handball over the top. Here's a chance now. Liptak. The goal is vacant. Liptak bounces through. Goal.
Too easy, Robbo, wasn't it?
Just enough time, and they did it perfectly, coming down the ground, and on centre wing was maybe where Footscray could have manned up a little bit better, and Liptak getting the chance in the dying seconds.
And it's that little give to a player sitting back when there's a contest. The Crows do very well. There's always someone to give the ball to when you're in trouble. And then when they run, by gee, they run. There was, I think, Schwert running to the outside of Liptak, and this wasn't a very good kick off the boot, but by gee, got a decent bounce. Telling kick.
Just 3 seconds left on the clock at the centre bounce. Wren wins a big one out of the centre square. But all to no avail. There is the siren. So give the points to Adelaide, certainly. They lead 4-5-29 to Footscray 2-2-14.
The Tourers are coming. Round 5 action from Lakeside. Heading your way on 7 Sports.
You want money? Jesus. You're right. Just haven't got any.
maybe that goal by Liptak right on quarter time swung the balance the Crows' way. Up until then, they were leading by just 9 points. Now it's 4-5 to 2 goals 2. Goal scorers Modra 2, Chalmers and Liptak. And for Footscray, Chris Grant and Richard Osborne are their goal kickers. Down on the boundary line, Neil Curley.
Thank you, Drew. Yes, well, the coach, Alan Joyce, did a lot of individual talking during the break. He spent a lot of time with various players on explaining how he wants them to play the game, and then of course he brought the boys together for a general team talk. Coach Graham Corns was different. He was just talking as a team pattern. He's pretty happy with the way they're playing, but there's a little bit of breeze out there, and the Crows had use for them, so naturally they should have been in front. But this Footscray side, they've got a lot of movement around the ball. I think they seem to have the extra player than the Crows. I don't know how they're getting it, but they're getting a player around the ball more. And we're seeing two sides. We're seeing a Crows outfit that are confident of their ball movement and confident of players, and we're seeing a Footscray side that are coming off 2 losses. They're just a touch hesitant to do the quick reflex thing, and they're missing some of their short work, and that's the reason why they're trailing on the scoreboard.
Thanks, Neil. There's Tony Modra, who kicked 2 goals in the first quarter.
He's a fellow who upset them last year, Drew, with 7 goals. And we look at the stats, Adelaide, as usual, having more handballs, and that's because they've got players and options when they are in a bit of trouble. Mark's fairly even. Centre breaks favouring Adelaide, which they perhaps didn't get full advantage of, or take full advantage of. But they just are, to me, just a little better around midfield, and their skill level just a bit better, which I think will carry them through on the day, notwithstanding the fact that I think Footscray can still make it a very, very good contest.
Second quarter about to get underway. McGuinness leading possession winner in the first quarter with 9. Smart and Liptak had 7. Huge punch by Grigic. He used the gloves to good effect. Michael Mora would have been happy with that one. Oh, the hand pass by Grant. Scott West for goal, but he was just pushed off his kick in the act of kicking, and it was enough to take it offline and behind.
Yes, Visca just getting there in time, Drew, but it was the best lead-up Footscray had in this game to look like a scoring opportunity.
4-5 plays 2-3. Ben Hart to kick the ball back into play for the Crows. Footscray need a really good 15 or 20 minutes here. Grigic, his kick across his body into the pocket, punched away. Very well done by Visca from Thorpe. And it goes out for a boundary throw in about 60 metres around from the Footscray goal. Mark Visca, number 49. Boundary throw in. Wren at the back, gets the tap down to McGuinness. Scott West trying to apply the tackle. McGuinness's hand pass astray, and we'll have another boundary throw in. There's a Crows player down at centre half forward for Footscray, and 4 trainers, doctors, physios, didn't quite pick up who it was, but by gee, doesn't look too good.
That's a move I can't pick him up either.
Player's been stopped because a stretcher has come out. Rouvray, we hear it is, and well, didn't quite see what happened there, but he looks as though he's in well,
he's motionless.
A little bit of trouble would be an understatement, I would think. So not much doing at Football Park apart from attending to this injured player for the Adelaide Crows, who we feel is Paul Rouvray. Score 4-5 Adelaide, 2-3 Footscray, and not something that we like to see in Aussie rules.
No, and certainly we might just see something in replay here, but Footscray show up. We caught one around the chin from Sean Wren, and maybe in falling to the ground whacked his head again, but very accidental that is. But might have also just halted Robbo, if we see another angle of it, halted Footscray's bit of a run here. Left arm of Wren just getting him and then falling to the ground, perhaps Wren falling on top of him as well.
And Wren led with his knee, so it might have been contact with the knee as well. He might have copped it in 3 different places.
Well, he's got his arm up to his face, so let's hope he's all right. And the Crows would effect a replacement straight away. It looks as though it may be Tasker.
Yes, he's come straight on. Yep.
We see Wren there, just assessing the situation as the player is taken from the ground. The goal kickers for Adelaide, Modra has kicked 2, 1 each to Chalmers and Liptak. For Footscray, 1 each to Chris Grant and Richard Osborne. So as the player leaves the ground, that's Paul Rouvray
play will continue, and it'll be a boundary throw in at right half forward for Footscray. The player's about 70 metres around from the Footscray goal, early part of the second term, and the margin is 14 points in favour of the Crows. Chris Grant being forced to do the ruck work, and a free kick. Well, a little bit technical, but I think you can see that maybe someone was being shepherded from the ruck contest, but didn't look as though there was much in it. But Grant has got the football. He's kicked to the goal square. No mark taken. It rebounds to the front of the square, about 20 metres out. Tasker goes back to Ben Hart. Ben Hart close to the boundary line. The kick smothered. Thorpe, handball. Richard Osborne handball. Liberatore in trouble. Gee, the ball's hot there. It's still very hot. Adelaide Crows tackling. Liberatore missed. A bit of an air shot, and Ben Hart will clear for the Crows. The handball goes to McDermott. Thorpe a little late, but McDermott kicks it back near the wing.
And Footscray will have to do it all over again. Southern inside the 50. Big pack gathers, no mark. Adelaide at the front through McGuinness. Little left footer. Rashuto a balk. And around Grigich. Beautiful play. Centre half back to centre half forward where Wallace takes the mark. Sexton.
Put themselves under pressure.
Here's Big Ilya. Away to Hunter. Mark Hunter was even captain last week when Doug Hawkins was playing. This kick is straight marked by Rashuto, who had a spell at full forward when Modra was injured in the game in Sydney. Good diving mark taken there by Southern. Cameron, a bit of space here for Footscray. Kretiuk goes for a long kick to the goal square. Thorpe, and it's Grant in front who takes the mark, greeted by total silence.
Yes, and that's exactly what Footscray want from Chris Grant, to stand up and take those grabs, particularly on a day like today when it's made for the taller marking players. The ball's going to be in the air a fair bit. He must take advantage of that.
So Footscray have had all the play in the second quarter. Grant gets his second.
Yes, and a good effort there on a half-back by Danny Southern. A diving mark in front of Chris Groom, who's been a bit of a forward target for the Crows. And Southern just starting to get on top of there a little bit, or at least matching the contest. And although he got rid of the ball very quickly with a handball, I thought he should have gone back and kicked long to get it out of the danger area. They worked it well. And then Grant taking that important mark in that full forward area. He's playing just off the forward pocket in front of Osborne and Thorpe.
4-5 plays, 3-3. Adelaide lead by 8 points. The ball back in the centre, and the ruckmen go at it. Wren tries to get it down to his rover in Bickley. The ball spills now for Kretiuk, who's having an impact in that centre square. He's kicked towards half forward, nearly taken by Kolonyuk. The ball is underneath those players there somewhere. Stephen Schwert is the Adelaide Crows player, and the umpire will be forced to bounce about 40 metres out from the Footscray goal. And Neil Curley has a report on Paul Rouvray.
Yes, it's a head knock. He's got slight concussion. The doctor is not quite certain whether we had to resume if needed, but he's a little sore and has a headache. And also McDermott, I feel, with Liptak, have got a problem as well.
Kick by Anderson up towards half forward. It comes to Wallace. Wallace, little one round the corner, was all right. Grabbed by West in the middle of the ground. Nobody coming to him. He bounces through them. Kick by Scott West. Very high. Osborne with the sit. Thorpe's there as well. Thorpe leaps, can't mark. And it's rushed through for a behind. So the Crows are being put under the hammer. No, it hasn't been signalled a behind. It's going to be a free kick.
Courageous effort there by both Thorpe and Tasker, who's the player to come on to replace Rouvray. Just win it himself, but he went courageously for the footy there against the odds.
Bulldogs giving a yelp at the moment.
Yeah, Thorpe a bit stiff there when he flew for that mark. Couldn't quite hang on to it. Kicked out of mid-air by Jamieson. Schwerk combines. The captain, McDermott, you're in trouble.
Early
no,
one.
Too high.
Early one. Yes, the first tackle was too high, Robert.
Okay, gets the ball away, but the umpire asking Chris McDermott to do it once again. Go over the man on the mark. So the ball will come back to McDermott. 16 minutes. We'll have another look here. And the tackle just a bit high there, Scott West. So McDermott to kick it back out near the wing. High flyer, terrific mark taken out there by Quill. And he plays on quickly, kicks it back near the centre. Grigich, player on his own, on centre wing. Looks as though it could be Costa. Costa's kick into the opposite forward pocket. Marking contest. Oh, big leap. Paid. obviously the Crows player not able to get the football out. And Tasker appealing for the mark.
Sorry, Robbo, Graham Corns made a change. A bit tall on the forward line. Chalmers has come off, and the specialist interchange, David Brown, has come on.
So the bounce right near the Bulldogs' goal, a combination of hand passes by the Crows. It's Rashuto's kick, comes out to this near side. Tregenza keeps his footing, but couldn't quite control the football. And the contest between the two number 12s, Costa for Footscray and Tregenza for the Crows, who at one stage was signed by Footscray, but never ever crossed the border. The contest was a good one. McDermott, sweeping hand pass. Bickley, away to Ben Hart. Ben Hart's kick into the centre. Anderson, Tregenza, done some good running, nearly run down. Made the kick ineffective, so Tregenza held on to it just a little too long. Ball finishes with Wiedemann, he'll go for goal. He kicks to the front of the square. Mogra couldn't take the mark, gets around on the left foot, snap for goal, hits the behind post on the full. So a free kick to Footscray to be taken in that right back pocket as Watts prepares to come onto the ground for the Bulldogs. And that free kick looks as though, what is it, Stevie Wallace down there, is it?
Yep.
And Wallace will kick it back outside 50 metres.
Good mark taken by Sexton. 29-21. The Crows by only 8 points. Sexton, big leap by Jamison, who's had a couple of high climbs. He was going to be free kick, advantage to Hunter, quickly to Thorpe, and Thorpe's dropped another one he might have taken. And the ball out of play on the 50.
Not sure how they play that as a free kick. I mean, the act of going for the footy really didn't interfere. The change affected there by Alan Joyce. Craig Ellis is off, and Jason Watts is on.
Boundary throw in. Footscray in attack. Wren wins it. Very congested in there. Kolonyuk over the ball. He gets it out somehow. Krediuk for goal. Close. I think he's kicked it. Well, we do have a contest now. 2 points the margin.
Yes, and Krediuk was very good last week, particularly in the air. Took about 8 to 9 marks, and he's been instrumental in his second quarter in helping Footscray stay in this game, particularly through that centre area. And that was a very good goal. Well done, Steve Krediuk.
So the fourth goal, kick for Footscray by Stephen Krediuk, and just sheer persistence by the Bulldogs. Here's Groom answering, the kick smothered. Handball by Cameron, goes wide to Quill. Quill's kick, no one really to kick to, so he goes wide to close to the boundary line. Gathered by Jamison, lovely hand pass. Just a slight mishandling there by Anderson, but he was able to get the handball away to Brown. Brown's kick towards half forward, nearly taken there by Liptak. He's going to get run down. Real strong tackle there by Ellis. Getting back was Quill. Short kick, mark taken by Wallace. Wallace is still inside the 50-metre region for the Crows. Now he kicks it in short into the centre. Kolonyuk jumping high. Handball to Southern. He's a bit slow. Shrugs the tackle or bounces off it. Back to Kolonyuk. Wide to Krediuk, who's very impressive in this match. His kick goes out towards half forward. Mark should have been taken by Costa. Gets it to Thorpe. Thorpe doesn't quite know what to do with it. Then gives it away. That's a throw. Sorry there, Mark Rashuto. In the backyard, yes, but at Football Park, no.
Basketball court or something.
There you go. Scott West now. Chalmers preparing to come back onto the ground. Scott West, a good kick to the front of the square. No mark taken. Kick was by Stanfield. There's another goal to Footscray. So, excuse us a little bit for not getting too excited, but you've got no idea from crowd reaction what the score is, but a good goal kick by Stanfield.
Yes, it was very good, and well done for Footscray to persist like that. Across half-back again, players like Southern getting involved. Krediuk, the fellow, also getting the ball forward with some more precise kicking and just reading that beautifully with Stanfield. Well done, Footscray.
So the Bulldogs leading by 4 points. 12.5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. So they haven't taken long to bridge the gap. Their turn with the breeze. Quill does well. Liberatore. leading possession winner for Footscray. Up towards the 50. It comes off hands. Grant charges through the pack, but goes without it.
Strong stuff there by Mark Rashudo to initiate the tackle and then get back onto the footy. Good stuff. Groom is off for the Adelaide Crows, and on at centre half forward, being picked up by Southern, is Chalmers.
So Chalmers was only on the bench there for a couple of minutes. Chance for West. Spins out of the pack, but Bickley feeds out a hand pass to Brown. He comes wide. Tregenza and Costa. Gee, good battle. The umpire said, well, let the better man win. Well, Tregenza only won it because he got support from Liptak. Poor kick towards centre half forward. All Footscray there, though. Quill gets the hand pass away. Watts. Kicked by Watts to no one. Must have seen a relative in the crowd. There wasn't a Footscray player within 100 metres of that.
The other player who's done very well for Footscray is Mark Hunter on Bickley. Bickley just down to 5 touches. Normally he's up around 15 or 16 at this stage of the game.
Yeah, good point, Roscoe. Mark Bickley, a very prominent player for the Crows. It clean bowls Anderson. Tap over. Crediuk, tackled by Wren. Attempted kick off the ground by Brown. Crediuk didn't waste any time. Got straight back into the contest. Footscray the advantage paid. There was a free kick for holding, but Liberatore went towards Thorpe. Just a little bit tentative, maybe, Alan Thorpe there. But a good contest. Look at this fellow. He's had a bit of a say in matters in this second term. Scott West, he gets it back to Costa. Costa into the pocket. Well done, Bullies. And it finishes with Kolonyuk. Costa, yeah, Kolonyuk, well done. Liberatore and Thorpe on their own at half forward. And just a little sign of panic by the Crows. Liberatore a shot for goal from 35 metres directly in front.
Well, Steve Kolonyuk's first kick, but it could be a very important one, setting up the Brownlow medalist.
Well, Liberatore, a high drop punt kick, floats away with the breeze. It's a goal. Liberatore kicks his first, and Footscray, after a fairly even first quarter, Ross, the last goal that Liptak kicked made it Adelaide's 4th, but since then the Bulldogs have kicked 4 goals in this second term.
Yes, and it's all because their commitment through the centre. They're getting more of the share of the footy. They've negated the Adelaide runners, and their half-back line has been very good.
Scoreless in this quarter, and Footscray have belted on 4 goals, 1.
And Libba just initiating there, drew one of his famous tackles on Wiedemann, trying to break it, but very difficult to break the Libba tackle.
Kick by Liberatore. Well, I'm not sure who aimed that at. There's nobody there. Tregenza takes the mark. Well, they're facing a brick wall in this quarter, the Adelaide Crows. I don't reckon they've been forward of half forward. They've made all sorts of changes on the forward line, but those forwards aren't seeing the action.
Well, Drew, it's interesting, the reverse roles in the skill level. Crows have dropped off, and some of their kicking to the forward line's been ordinary. Footscray's picked theirs up.
Peter Quill, ex-West Australian. Unmarked is Grigich in the centre of the ground.
Well done, Ilya.
The lead by Thorpe. He's had about 3 or 4 chances. No marks yet. West, front of the pack. Well done. Back to Thorpe. He beats a tackle. He's outside. He's going to get a free.
No,
West is.
He's going against McDermott.
Well, 6-3 to 4-5. This could be pretty handy advantage for Footscray if he could kick this goal.
And we've heard about McGuinness being perhaps not cherry ripe. And if they've gone in with a few players underdone, they could come unstuck here. West kicking from about 52 metres out. Breeze at his back. Went for the distance. Hooked it. Off hands out of bounds.
Yes, with Mark Bickley 2 and 3, that's kicks and handballs. McDermott 3 and 3. They just lose that little bit of punch through the centre they normally have. And of course, Jarman not being there, who I thought was best on ground last week, just dropped off a little bit.
Stanfield takes the ball out of the air, and he was lucky not to be penalised, because I get the impression that once you back yourself in that situation, if the tackle is an effective one, you could be penalised for holding the ball, but the umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt, and a bounce. Still close to Footscray's scoring zone. Kicked out by Jamieson, but not far enough. Wallace has taken the mark. He can go to Grigich. Wiedemann coming down from half forward. Covers Grigich. So Wallace goes across centre half forward. And Southern, good posse, good mark.
So he's drifted down. and has spent the last 2 or 3 minutes on that half-forward area. Graham Corn's ready to effect another change with Groom coming back on, but he has followed Chalmers down that way.
And new haircut style here by Danny Southern. Let's see what he can do with the kick. By gee, pretty good. It is another Footscray goal.
Robbo, it might be a new haircut, but I don't think he got it from a barber.
Well, the Bulldogs have kicked their 7th goal. Adelaide are yet to score in this second term. Footscray 7-3, lead Adelaide 4-5.
Yes, and see Sean Wren, the player, to come off to be replaced by Chris Groom. Chalmers into the ruck, Groom to centre half forward to be picked up by Southern. It's a strong mark, and he really set himself for that goal. Well done, Danny Southern. Good stuff, Footscray, to come back like this.
Well, we saw earlier that Adelaide were 8-1 on to win this game. This could be a ball over of huge proportions. And they've got nearly 8 minutes of wind-assisted time left, Footscray. Here they go again. West to Liberatore. Long kick to the goal square. Osborne, spoiled by Osborne. He's still a chance. 15 metres out. Another one. Great kick by Osborne. And still Adelaide scoreless in this quarter, while Footscray are just running amok and have added 6 goals won.
And things turning their way too, Drew, with this punch coming from Tasker, which is the right thing to do, as we see the setup initially. Liver getting involved in the action. He's got right away from McGuinness, who's resting the moment. There's the punch, but it comes off Visca and lands with Osborne, who makes sure of a goal from there.
Good shepherd by Alan Thorpe. And Scott West did some good work back near the centre of the ground. The punch away. Adelaide a chance now. McGuinness. Hunter, the tackler. McGuinness tackled, didn't have the football, I would have thought. No free kick. In goes Liberatore. Runs away from Tony McGuinness. Gets the hand pass. Back to Alice. A little kick. Finds Watts. Watts goes inboard. Sexton. Straight down the ground. Covers all the players. A race on now. Colin making a contest with Stewart. Ball rebounds West. Good vision. Little kick well weighted. Thorpe is marked within scoring distance. Go back and have a shot, son.
Yes, Mark Visca had left Thorpe alone, thinking that Rashudo and his teammate Swert would get the footy, so he'd run back for that little tap back by Swert, but it came unstuck. And West again featuring.
Well, he's had 10 kicks and 2 handballs, Scott West. Thorpe, good kick. Goal umpire doesn't move. 9 goals now to Footscray. Alan Thorpe kicks his first goal. Footscray 9-3, Adelaide 4-5, and there's still 6.5 minutes left in the term.
Yes, and this build-up from the back line was very good by Footscray. Perhaps their best build-up out of defence for the game so far. And even though that kick towards Grant wasn't good, it was a good effort here by Collier to keep the contest there. The tap back from Swert didn't quite work, and then Alan Thorpe finished off. He kicked 6 in the reserves last week, so deserved his posse back on the senior side.
Footscray have had 7 goal kickers in this quarter. 7 goals, 7 different goal scorers. Liptak out to McGuinness. A high ball. It does hold up a little bit in the breeze. Smart at the back, no mark. And he interfered, gives away the free kick. Free kicks at the moment going Footscray's way, 14-7. Stanfield is spoiled from behind by Jamison. It goes to Wallace. Very high ball by Wallace. Grant comes late. West has been prominent. Adelaide free kick. And I think the Crows fans have had a look at the statistics.
Well, Drew, it's interesting because the free kick ratio to the Crows is the worst in the league. They have 119 against and only 78 for, so that's why the Crows fans would be happy.
Well, Watts letting himself down there, gave it away to Tregenza. Up towards full forward, no mark taken. Ilya bashes it out towards the right. Wallace defending grandly, kicks it back towards half-back. Good mark, taken by Chris Grant over the top of Ben Hart. Crediuk making position on centre wing, but Grant goes longer to right half forward. Contest there. Crediuk could gather, little misunderstanding. Oh, Bickley, well tackled. In the back, did you think?
Well, how could he, if he's carried forward, surely, I know he's got the footy, but there's 2 blokes just right in his back.
Hayden Kennedy, Anton McKernan and Gerald Walsh, the officiating umpires this afternoon. Stanfield goes for it with Chalmers. The ball rebounds towards half forward. Bickley caught. Stanfield, good vision. Gets it out to Crediuk. He can run right up to the 50-metre line. He could have, but he kicks it into the square. The ball covers the two players in the goal square. Colin making some sort of activity back there. Visca combines with Schwert. Ball rebounds for McDermott. Nearly run down there was Tasker. Back to McDermott. Another handball into the pocket. Taken by Visca. Back to Tasker. And the combination of hand passes has allowed the Crows to clear the ball back to centre wing. But it'll just come back because Grigic gets it to Quill. Quill's kick in near the centre. The mark is taken by Watts. Gets past. Sweeping handball to Hunter. Hunter looks for the hand pass as well. Southern left it behind. One too many. Maybe a costly error. Footscray caused a few last week against North Melbourne. Again, the ball getting through the defender. Rashudo gathers, gets it away to Jamison. Jamison's kick down near the wing. An opportunity here for Crediuk. He's caught by McGuinness. You're in strife and you will be penalised. And the Crows supporters go up in arms as Steve Crediuk nearly loses his jumper a la Tony McGuinness.
That was one of the best cries of ball, yes, you will ever hear. McGuinness has kicked towards centre half forward. Oh, big leap, but no mark. Unluckily a bit there. Cameron, gee, got high. Hurriedly out of there by Grigic. Chalmers runs onto it. Well done by Costa. Liberatore approaching 20 possessions. Cameron again, still recovering from that high mark. Good ball, Thorpe. Another chance, he was in front. He's still got a chance. He paddles it back. West has been a top player. Blind hand pass grabbed by Anderson. Anderson across the half-back line. Still danger. Grant. Now, Chris Grant is 55 metres out. He is not the world's longest kick, and this may test him even with the breeze at his back. But Adelaide haven't taken it forward of... I don't think they've ventured forward of half forward in this quarter.
Mark Bickley in trouble. He's coming off. Is he?
Oh, Grant's kick is a ripper. A pearler. Well, I've underestimated him. What a goal.
That's his third, Drew, too, and two very important goals in this quarter as Bickley's off the ground with a leg injury and Wren to come on. But Chris Grant, certainly, I didn't think he'd make the distance either, Drew. I thought he was being a little bit too confident about that kick, but he certainly backed himself. He indicated to Stanfield to go down into the square and he'd go long. That kick from Anderson, just a non-effective kick. Should have gone long.
Well, Footscray a chance again. Liberatore goes wide. Costa in towards full forward. Osborne punched away, but he gathers. Onto the right foot goes Richard Osborne. Oh. It's another goal to the Bullies. Raining goals for Footscray at Football Park. They've kicked their 11th with 2.5 minutes left. Osborne has kicked 3, and they lead 69-29.
And it just shows you that football can change so very quickly if you just persist and keep at it. And this would please Alan Joyce very much so, because through the middle they've been outstanding, Footscray, in this second quarter, particularly the second half of this second quarter. And Osborne, Grant, Thorpe, Stanfield, Southern have all contributed. Terrific play, Footscray.
Well, a top performance by Richard Osborne. Only a couple of weeks ago he was in America endeavouring to become a kicker for one of the gridiron teams. Back here kicking goals now for Footscray. McGuinness gets the ball up forward for the Crows. The Footscray defence now under pressure for probably the second or third time in this second quarter. But Nicholson receiving from Southern, gets it to Quill. Quill has a look down the wing, and the kick punched away from Crediuk. Looks as though he may be playing in the middle, Crediuk, but doing a good job. Lip tap caught. How did he get rid of the ball? The umpire saw it as all clear. And some desperate stuff shown by Danny Southern. He gets the handball out. Some onlookers out there in Crows Guernsey. Stanfield's kick goes down towards half forward, and an excellent mark taken by Grant, who has taken the points against Ben Hart so far in this game.
6 marks.
He's too far out to score, but there's a player on his own. It's Cameron. Cameron off the left foot, kicks to the front of the goals. Tasker punches the ball away. Still there for Footscray. In goes Visca and Schwert. and they tie it up about 30 metres out from the Footscray goal.
Robbo, you mentioned before on that half-back flank for Footscray, there was quite a few spectators from the Crows. They're all just basically look as if they're standing around waiting for someone else to take the initiative to set them alight. And what happens then is we become very stagnant.
Wren wins in ruck down to McDermott. Anderson didn't know what to do with it. Gave it straight to the opposition. Colin offline or behind.
Well, that's what pressure does, isn't it? If the forwards apply the enormous pressure, the defenders and centre-line players, the players that run through the middle, make mistakes.
Well, this is incredible. Adelaide have a minute left to stop this being a scoreless quarter for them. And it's not an Arctic blast like you might get at the Western Oval. This is Football Park on a summer's day, virtually. McGuinness. But Footscray have been showing signs. Since Alan Joyce went there, they've had 2 narrow losses. A point against Collingwood, 11 points against North Melbourne. Coming together today. Grigich almost. Wiedemann, a fumble. You haven't got time in this game for that. Tregenza's kick dropped by Smart. They're making blues. Down goes Brown. They've lost it. Stanfield, is he holding it? Yes! Now there's an interesting one. 2 men from...
What chance did he have of getting rid of the footy?
Has there ever been an occasion in AFL footy where 2 men from Fish Creek have gone in and one has won it with a good tackle?
Good point, Drew. I won't argue on that one.
Stanfield and Wayne Wiedemann. What a good get.
Both from Fish Creek.
Fish Creek.
I think you set that up before they go, Drew.
Well, Jamison's got the football. He may even run out of time here. He has. The score will not register. The kick fell short anyway. So at half-time, believe it or not, Footscray lead by 41 points. They're 11-4-70. Adelaide 4-5-29. And what a tremendous first half it's been for the Bulldogs. Osborne's kicked 3 goals. Grant's kicked 3. And for Adelaide, Modra's kicked 2.
And in that quarter, it was 9-2 to nothing. So at half-time here at Football Park, Footscray 11-4-70, Adelaide 4-5-29.
St Kilda and Richmond. Our Anzac Day special right here on 7 Sport tomorrow.
Sandy Roberts.
Oh, 1, 2, 3. Mic is on now. Pete, can you hear us?
Can you hear him yet?
Huh?
Tandy.
Drew.
Yes, mate.
How are you, mate?
All right.
Just for your own information, a wet day here.
Wet?
Yes.
Well, what a quarter of football by Footscray. There is a breeze here, not a wind, but it's not a 9-goal gale. And in that quarter, 9-2 to nothing to convert a deficit into a thumping 41-point lead. The goal kickers are Osborne and Grant, who have 3 each. And for the Crows, Modra kicked 2 in the first quarter.
This match is part of the Foster's 1994 AFL Premiership season.
Well, there's another game on in the AFL today. It's over in Perth, where the West Coast Eagles are taking on Hawthorn. And don't the Hawks need to give a good showing today, because they're on the bottom of the ladder. Some network stations will be taking a telecast live of that game following this game in Adelaide. So we'll take you over there now and set the scene. And here's Sandy Roberts. Sandy?
Yes, thank you very much, Drew. With me is Gerard Healy. Well, we left sunny Melbourne early this morning, Gerard, and we've come over to a somewhat soggy Perth, but we know how well Subiaco takes in the water, so I don't think it's going to be a problem at all.
No, but the humidity might be, Sandy. Going to be very torrid conditions on the players, I'd say.
Yes, I think it's testing your fitness a bit early
It
on.
is early. I've had a pretty big morning this morning.
Well, it's going to be a big day for Peter Knights and Hawthorn as well, isn't it? It's crunch time for the Hawks. Peter has been good enough to join us now. No umbrellas are, interestingly enough, allowed here at the ground this year. But Knightsy, thanks for joining us. First things first, I guess I'm sure all Hawthorn fans, particularly back in Melbourne, will be keen to know your key players in Dunstall, Langford and Taylor. They've all made the trip. They're all fit and they're all going to play?
Yes, they are all ready to play, Sandy. We're going in as selected at this stage, yes.
Any risk at all playing those players, Pete?
No,
we saw Tim Watson yesterday.
No, we wouldn't fall into that trap, Sandy. I mean, especially with the bye next week. It's a long, long season and there's a lot of games to go yet, and we wouldn't have played those guys unless they were 100%. In actual fact, especially Jason, he's been training for the last couple of weeks, just hasn't been doing a lot of kicking on his right leg, but I know they're 100% and ready to fire up.
Pete, I guess it's fair to say you've come in for a fair bit of criticism in the last 3 weeks. Not so much for the losing, but probably the way you've lost. It's been an average deficit of 89 points.
Yes, it's not a good story at all, and I guess all as we can do is put that behind us and look to make sure we get on the front foot very, very quickly today. I think all the guys are fully aware of the situation and our past couple of performances. That they don't need me or anyone else to be highlighting that, and I guess that'll be shown out on the field today.
Well, 12 premiership players from 1991 in the side, as against 14 for the Eagles. That would give you some confidence.
Oh yes, look, just having our captain and vice captain back will make a big difference to a lot of young players. I mean, again today we've got another first gamer coming up, so I mean that's the way we're going in, picking our best side, and whether that's experienced players or first gamers, that's the way we'll go. But certainly getting a couple of those key players back will make them walk a lot taller and help our overall confidence.
Well, I guess it's fair to say it probably hasn't just been injuries that's cost you dearly. You've had some pretty good senior players that have been hopelessly out of form, and I speak of Ben Allen, Darren Jarman, Johnny Platten struggled a little bit, I guess, and also Darren Pritchard.
Well, I guess that's your prerogative to nominate those players, but from my point of view, I think it's a little unfair to nominate a few, because in general, our overall team performance, and that of course involves a lot of individuals, but our overall team performance has been very, very ordinary, and to just highlight a couple of players I think is unfair. We've got to get a lift from everyone on the field, and whether that be first gamers, second gamers or 200 game players, there's no excuses. I mean, we've just got to get a lift from everyone.
Pete, just on the subject of first and second gamers, you certainly had the experience with the Brisbane Bears as far as travel is concerned. Does that make your job more difficult, bringing these young players over here, particularly with the flight to Perth?
Yes, we've brought a couple of young players for their first trip, more than a couple, I suppose. But look, I guess we go in picking our best side, and irrespective of where we're playing, whether it be in Melbourne, interstate or overseas, you'll continue to go that way. And I don't think you can be looking at other areas to sort of indicate as to who you're going to go in with. You've just got to pick your best side available and go with it.
Well, we don't want to give anything, we don't want you to give anything away, but we walked in with several Hawthorn officials just an hour or so ago and said, how are the boys today? Are they pumped? and there was just a wry smile and a look of affirmation. Yes, they were. So I think we're going to be in for a pretty good contest.
Yeah, we certainly hope so. I mean, there's been no rah this morning or yesterday afternoon. It's been very much minds on the job, and as I've said, I don't think any of the guys need me or anyone else to let them know what the situation is that we're in, and well, I guess we'll find out this afternoon.
All right, Pete, thank you very much for your time. Good luck to the Hawks against the West Coast Eagles. Peter Knights, the coach of Hawthorn. So, Drew, it promises to be a very good contest, and I know you're a trivia buff, Drew. Interestingly enough, at Subiaco this year, rain, hail or shine, umbrellas are not allowed in the ground.
Is that right?
That is correct.
I'll give you a bit of trivia. The Crows haven't lost in Adelaide since nearly a year to the day against Hawthorn, 30th of April last year.
Well, just in closing, having seen that scoreboard, I'll give you a piece of trivia. It looks as though they're going to.
You got some music trivia for me?
Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Sandy. I think that was a coup getting Peter Knights on match day just an hour and a half before the game. Thanks to Peter Knights for joining us. I'll be back with Ross Glendinning to talk about a Footscray record quarter against the Crows after a short break. Well, back at Footy Park and Roscoe, I'm not sure that I can believe what I've just seen.
No, I'm probably a bit the same, Drew. I think the persistence of Footscray has been just exceptional because in the first quarter they got their share of the footy, Drew, but they really didn't do a lot with it, and it was the same problem that Alan Joyce had been preaching to his players in the previous two games, that they were getting the footy enough, their contests have been good, but their disposal not so good. But gee, what a turnaround in the second quarter, and we'll see the stats shortly, but it was a big turnaround, and to have I think it was a 56-point turnaround from first to second quarter, and we look at these first quarter stats, and Adelaide in control there, particularly their handball getting out of trouble and setting up into their forward line. Centre breaks also favour them 5-2, although I mentioned that first quarter, I don't think they took full advantage of that. And then when you go to the second quarter, we really do see that Footscray, 63-34. Now, sometimes that can be misleading, but in actual fact, they kept the Crows scoreless through, didn't they? And their biggest quarter of football
ever against
the Crows. And around the forward line, they've got 7 goal kickers to 3. And Chris Grant bobbed up, Richard Osman bobbed up, and players across the middle, Leon Cameron, Crediuk, Mark Hunter's done a great job on Mark Bickley, who's gone off the ground with a bit of an injury. So I just think it's really set for terrific. The third quarter's often been the one where good sides come back and do the job.
Well, they often call it the championship quarter, but for the Crows, it's got to be the catch-up quarter.
Well, they've got a hell of a lot of work to do. They're very disjointed around midfield. Their running players are well down, and they rely on them so much. McDermott, Liptak and McGuinness all look a bit sluggish. McGuinness has had a bit of the footy, but not as effective as he normally is. And then Bickley, as I say, he's come off the ground. Tregenza and Anderson are getting beaten on the wings. They've lost across half forward. Southern's picked up his game beautifully across half back, kicked a goal as well. So, as he said in the paper, it's not how you look, but how you play football.
Yeah. I just wonder whether the Crows might have gone in with a few blokes a little bit less than 100%. I reckon 2 weeks ago in Sydney they definitely did, and nearly threw the game against the Swans.
It can work against you at times, Drew, and particularly in their running players, which if you've got that question mark against someone like perhaps McGuinness, maybe McDermott, maybe Liptak also, then, OK, you lose that bit of effectiveness. But if you're out on the ground, you're 100%.
I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Please
Tip a winner.
Tip a winner. Well, I'm actually going to go for a Crows revival.
Are you?
Yeah.
Bold. A bold...
Well, I just think that they are a side who have got more resolve and character than they've shown at the moment. Even though Footscray have shown their best hand, I think the Crows will actually get back and make it a very close one. How's that?
Yeah, very bold. Good on you, Roscoe. Well, let's see how you go. Now, let's spend just a minute with David Brown.
Probably Greg Phillips and Bruce Abernathy. I'd say my parents and Jack Carl. 60 Minutes. Probably the soaps like Neighbours and the rest of them. Probably Sean Wren, because he makes me look like a dwarf. Probably Kicking on the Run. Too many. Wayne Carey.
The Bulldogs by 41 at half-time. We'll be back at Football Park soon.
State of Origin, State of War. South Australia at home to Victoria on Tuesday, May the 3rd.
There's a man here who's not very happy. Curls, what's happening?
Well, Drew, you have to give credit where credit is due, and Footscray played an absolutely magnificent quarter of team and power running football. They had players all over the ground that lifted. They've got dominant forwards in Grant and now Osborne getting into the game. Their centre work and their runners around the ground, led by Liberatore, are just showing the Crows how to play good hard footy, and full credit to them. And they're just confident now. Their players all over the ground, particularly their defensive players, they're now running off their men. They're looking for the movement. They're cutting out players. They're supporting in, not only in body but also in voice. And that was a great quarter of football.
Neil, do you take any notice of how the players run back on the ground? Footscray ran back with a bit of authority. The Adelaide Crows boys came back quite slowly. Does that indicate anything to you?
Well, it does. You know, one team's pumped up and the other is licking their wounds, and I think Footscray will go on with this game and make it very difficult for the Crows.
Well, let's see what happens in this third term. Footscray lead by nearly 7 goals, and they're going into the slight breeze, but Grigic gets them away to a good start, and there's a free kick already. Centre half forward, it'll go to Stanfield, who we must remember started at centre half back on Nigel Smart, and the Footscray boys have switched their players around enormously. Thorpe walks no one. Grigic gets it out to right half forward. Costa, can he score in the early minutes of this second term? The kick falls in short, punched away from Grant by Jamison. Visca receives the handball and the Crows are out of trouble. Anderson marks at right half back.
Greg Anderson popping the ball over the top. Rashuto giving him some good run. The youngster who had a sensational first season last year. Here's Smart at half forward. Almost back to the wing. It's towed forward and it goes out of bounds off the boot of Quill. And we'll have a boundary throw in. It was Sexton.
Yes, Mark Bickley hasn't reappeared for the Crows after half-time. He came off just before half-time, a bit of a niggle. Rouvre's up and standing, which is good.
And that little goatee beard was of Wayne Wiedemann.
Injured just before the half-time break, Wiedemann. Here's Leon Cameron's kick to the 50, and Wren thrusts out his chest and takes the mark.
It's all very well to defend Drew in this third term, but they trail by 7 goals, so they've got a lot of catching up to do.
Absolutely. Here it is at centre wing now. Liberatore flips the ball out. The crowd want to throw. Through Southern it goes to Hunter. The kick by Hunter. Collinuk. Been reasonably quiet, Collinuk.
Collinuk is just forward of the centre, between centre and centre half forward. He goes in short, and not a bad little pass either. Osborne is marked. So Footscray playing very confident football. Richard Osborne too far out to score. Short pass is pretty good. And this time Thorpe has taken the mark. He's had 4 or 5 chances, Alan Thorpe. But maybe his confidence just a little low. He's certainly got a chance to score from here.
I think you've hit it on the head there, Robbo. He certainly has had a number of chances to get the footy. He kicked 6 on the reserves last week, as I mentioned, so his goal-kicking confidence should be up.
Well, Thorpe, well within scoring distance, goes for goal and kicks it. Alan Thorpe has now kicked 2, and early in the third quarter, Footscray proceed 12-4. 76, Adelaide 4-5, 29.
And that's the goal that the Crows wanted to get them started in this third quarter. It's gone the other way. Osborne leading right out away from goals in front of Hart. And he's lifted his game, particularly that second quarter. He kicked a couple of very vital goals.
Well, it just goes to prove you can move the ball into this breeze. And they've done something the Crows couldn't do on the entire second quarter. Krediuk out of the middle. Grant is here with Jamison. It spills to Jamison. Little hand pass. Tregenza bowled over by Liberatore. Costa comes back to Libba. He is starring. A centering kick. One-hander dragged in by West. Gets around. Shock kick by West. I don't know what that was supposed to do. Tregenza takes the mark. Off to McDermott. Now he palms it out wide towards the wing. Brown trying to draw a man. High ball inside the 50. Oh, Footscray plays. About 3 of them crash into each other. Liptak. They look lethargic, the Crows.
West tries to crash his way through. Groom gets it away. Liptak shot for goal. Misses to the right-hand side. Well, ironical cheers, because that's their first score since late in the first quarter, when Liptak kicked his only goal. Kick in to be done by Ellis. Goes to the far side. 2-on-1 out there. Didn't need to, although Smart
thought he could have nearly been paid the mark, but Hunter runs away with the footy, kicks it down towards the wing. Diving effort by Stanfield, gatherers by Krediuk, gets the handball back. Chance here for Costa, who's had some sort of an impact on the game. His kick goes wide and over in front of Chris Grant and his opponent, who is Jamison at the moment. So we'll have a boundary throw in at right half forward for Footscray. Footscray have kicked the goal in this third quarter so far. The Crows have just kicked that one behind. Here's McGuinness, tries to get it to Tregenza. Tregenza gathers, round onto his right foot, little kick, finds Brown, away to Rashudo. Rashudo down towards the 50-metre line. Smart has led into the pocket, close to the boundary line. It could be forced over, it is, for a throw-in, and Nigel Smart, you're having one of your dirty days. And Sexton playing quite well on him.
And that's a bit of a sign too, Robbo, of how the Crows have played today. They've gone wide instead of coming normally direct through centre half forward. They've gone to the flanks. Makes it very difficult.
Another full house here at Footy Park, and they're stunned at what they're seeing. Liberatore's kick goes out of bounds on the full. But it's just worth relating, he's had 11 kicks and 8 handball. 12 kicks and 8. So here we are, 5 minutes into the third quarter, and he's up to 20 possessions. Wren. Tregenza to Hart on the forward line. Long kick by Hart. Sheffield through for goal. A crowd breaker.
Yes, and Drew, how ironical it's a backman predominantly who kicks their goal. Their opening goal scored, as Robbo said, their point was the first one they'd scored just previously since late in that first quarter. And Ben Hart, who's had his problems around the half-back area, particularly with Chris Grant, kicks a very good goal and some good shepherding there as well.
Awkward bounce, probably favours the Crows. Grigic gets it out of the centre, goes away to Costa, tackle, ball spills, McGuinness, handball over the top, chance for Liptak. Brown, you're in trouble. Good tackle, Wallace. Ball spills, Liberatore, always in the action. Hunter's kick, ineffective. Gatherers by Liptak, pushed in the back, but the kick goes down towards the forward line. Well done by Nicholson, backed himself and went with desperation. Good boy. Hunter tries to get it back to Southern, and Southern may clear. The hand pass, Liberatore. Wider still to Nicholson, who's done some good running. Krediuk, an effective player around the middle of the ground for Footscray. The kick to half forward, Grant. Couldn't quite take the mark. Jamison close to the boundary line, and it goes over.
Yeah, Benny Hart, in fact, has come to the half-forward line for the start of this third quarter. Jamison, the player, picking up Grant.
So the Bulldogs' attitude certainly causing some problems for the Crows. That tap out by Wren, found Tregenza, was brilliant, up towards the 50-metre line. Sexton grabbed around the neck, but he just went right on with it, Ben Sexton, and his kick fell in short, but a free kick is going.
Yes, it's against Smart down the back area. He continued to tackle Grigic, so the free kick will go to Danny Southern and half-back.
Fair enough. And there's Nigel Smart, as we see Southern kick the ball forward for Footscray. Just drops in a little short. Chris McDermott read a little bit better than the other players and took the mark. He runs on quickly and kicks it back towards centre half forward for the Crows. Punched away by that Footscray defence. They've been disciplined all day. Cameron slip handball, brilliant. Nothing wrong with that. Krediuk, Southern, and now Hunter. Hunter kicks it out towards the right half forward, and Drew.
Yeah, Leon Cameron down in the middle of the ground, or he's up again, but we were moving gingerly. Belted down just after he got rid of that hand pass. So boundary throw in, Wren front position. McDermott rips through the pack. Brown. The Crows trying to lift. The kick by Brown.
Oh, Chalmers misread that. He stopped. He was in front, and he stopped. Got himself out of posse.
Ellis takes the mark. Craig Ellis made his debut. He's playing his second game, an 18-year-old. There's Liberatore. It's not Liberatore, it's Costa with Wren. Liberatore's in there now. They are cornered, the Adelaide Crows. McGuinness, a high one. Grigic takes the mark. Kicked 3 goals in the opening quarter last week against North Melbourne. Terrific start to the game, but he weakened. Will he weaken today? This one comes round the corner from Ellis, gains about 25 metres and goes out of bounds.
Ended up being a very good kick. In fact, it was Peter Quill, I think, Drew, the kick, that ball around the corner.
And not a bad effort either, because he was in a bit of trouble there. Smart takes the ball out of the air. He's tackled, gets the handball to Anderson. Anderson, the kick smothered. Ball rebounds towards centre-half back. Liberatore backs himself. Gets the handball away to Southern. The Bullies could nearly take this the length of the ground. They've got 3-on-1. Southern good. Drew the player. Get it to Costa. Costa's now on centre wing. He can give the hand pass further wide. The bounce is very important here. Well done by Ellis. Made it very good. Got it back to Costa. Costa off the right foot, hooks the kick in towards full forward, but a good mark taken by Jamieson. When it looked rather threatening there for the Crows, Rod Jamieson has taken important possession. He gets the kick away towards the 50-metre line where McGuinness has made position. His kick goes down the wing. It's not really good by Tony McGuinness's standards, and in chips Liberatore. Pittman a little late on the scene, but watch this tough little character get up and take his kick. Liberatore. What a great little player he's been.
Give him 3 votes now.
Terrific performance. The kick towards full forward, taken by Tasker. Gets it to McDermott, the running play of McGuinness. They've missed that in the first half. Now Tregenza, a short kick by that player, and the mark is taken this time by Nigel Smart. Amid ironical cheers to a certain extent, because Smart is having only his 10th possession for the game. The kick to the square.
Some top marks there to Rod Jamieson. That mark in the back half was very good under a lot of pressure, and then set up the running play to come through from half back, typical of the way the Crows normally play, and deliver to Modra very good.
Modra kicks for goal and puts it through. 3 goals to Tony Modra, and the Crows get their 6th. 6-6 plays 12-4.
Yes, and the half-back line of the Crows, particularly the skipper Chris McDermott, really showing the way there, just trying to stand up and get something going in this third quarter. Such a vital one. They're so far behind, and that's more typical of Modra. They certainly need to lift through the centre, the Crows.
Well, a couple of goals this quarter, 2 goals to 1 for the Crows, so they're just edging back. 11.5 minutes to go to 3-quarter time. Gee, they'd need to finish this quarter with a rush. Grigic, a terrific punch to beat Wren. Colin goes back. Cameron. Kick by Cameron to full forward. Osborne's there, but he's held out of it. And Visca takes the mark. Back to Schwert. Across the front of the goal face. Jamieson.
Good kick.
Perfect kick. Tony McGuinness just forward of half-back flank. He's approaching 20 possessions as well. And a 50-metre penalty.
Yeah, the decision was given Ross obviously because he was an Adelaide player making position there to take the hand pass.
Yes. Yeah, no, the Footscray play there and screen. Was it Ellis?
Sure,
or Costa, was it? Yeah, Costa, I think you're right, Rob. He was trying to, he knew there was a player on, so he's trying to hold it up.
Disappointing kick. Quill caught in the middle of the pack, and here's Ben Hart, and he might do it again.
He only kicked 2 goals in total last season, Drew, so he could equal that now if he gets this.
All-Australian in the last 2 years, and incredible to think he's still only 19 years of age. He got their first goal of this quarter. Can he get their third? 51 metres out. Got distance. Missed to the left.
Ben Hart in picture there. 10.5 minutes left. 6-7 plays 12-4. And Footscray endeavouring to clear the ball from their full back line. It's Ellis. Kicks it out wide. And in short, mark taken by Nigel Smart. So you get some sort of a feeling the Crows just lifting their intensity, but they need to. They still trail by just under 6 goals. Modra's marked in the pocket in front of Nicholson.
He made it tough for Modra there, Robbo, because he had Rashudo. This is Smart. Had Rashudo just inside the 50, unattended. He could have chipped over to him. Rashudo could have turned. Now he's pushed Modra right to the boundary line.
Well, Tony Modra has kicked some impossible goals. He runs around and then kicks that screw punt kick and does it perfectly. Great kick. Well, Modra's kicked 4, and we've got 1.5 quarters left. 7-7 to 12-4. Adelaide making something of a surge at the Bulldogs.
Yes, and there's the kick from Smart, who put Modra under enormous pressure, and whilst he might have had a lot of confidence in Modra to kick the goal, by gee, put some pressure on him, and it took a quality play to kick the goal from there.
The crowd was happy. "27 points the margin, and the Crows are starting to come back. Well, they've lost it in the middle. Crediuk, long ball. Osborne. It's thumped down to the front. Liberatore's after it. But with McDermott. Libber's got it. Burst through the tackle. On the edge of the square, all Footscray. Thorpe can walk in. He decides to go back to have a kick for goal. And all the Crows came up the ground, and it was a raffle down there as to which Footscray player marked in the square.
Yes, that's all that attack when they try and rely on the player who's going for the footy, their teammate, to get it, so they run off their player expecting their teammate to get it, and when he doesn't, their man's left behind.
Thorpe, point blank range. Goal! He's got 3. So early on he was struggling to hold marks that he should have, but all of a sudden you find that he's kicked 3 goals, equal with Grant, equal with Osborne.
Yeah, so that's a critical kick. He's kicked the only 2 for Footscray in this quarter, the opening one, and then this one in reply to that goal from Modra, which is an important kick because the Crows were just starting to get back into the game and get on top midfield particularly. That's one they didn't want.
So Alan Thorpe becomes the equal leading goal scorer for Footscray. Drew just mentioned Grant with 3, Thorpe with 3, and Osborne with 3. Sean Wren up against Ilya Grigic at the centre bounce. 7-7 plays 13-4, and Wren wins this one. The ball rebounds. Brown tries to get it clear. Punch clear eventually by Big Wren. Out towards the 50-metre line. Smart gives it back to Liptak. Liptak with the left foot. Modra. He's still there, but it's forced over in the finish for a rush behind to Adelaide. Tony Modra, 4 goals so far in the game, and Footscray lead by 32 points. Time remaining, 8 3/4 minutes, and Sutton to kick it back for Footscray.
And a mighty kick it is too, into the breeze. Grigic didn't get first touch. Quick with the hand pass, a fumble by Rasciuto, and now a chance for the Bulldogs. Crediuk has been a good player for the Dogs all day. Grigic misses off the ground, goes a second time. Costa with pace. Oh, rips it off the ground. Kicked by Costa, inside the 50. Stanfield works to the front, can't quite take the mark. Thorpe's there, and Kolonyuk. And rushed through for a behind.
Well, again, Footscray very good on that outer side of the ground there, carrying the ball pretty quickly from one end of the ground to the other. Kick in by Tasker. It's been marked by McDermott. McDermott is at centre half back, and he goes straight down the ground. Good 50-metre kick, but getting back very quickly and taking a good solid mark at centre half back for Footscray is Stephen Wallace. Wallace perhaps a little underestimated as far as his defensive ability in that Footscray team. He's played a lot of games for Footscray since coming from Leongatha and has held his place for, 10 or 12 years now. Kolonyuk gets it to Southern. Southern's run from the full back line, remembering that he kicked out from the recent behind. In the goal square, Libba! He's got it! Liberatore kicks his second goal, and Footscray go marching on. They've now kicked their 14th. It's 89 plays 50.
Very good point you make there, Robbo, too, about Steve Wallace. He has held up across half-back, and he, when Steve McPherson is playing there, forms a very, very experienced half-back area. And if you get Dougie Hawkins dropping back as well, they get some great rebound there. But then Danny Southern, the other player who's come to the fore, kicking long to the forward line, which is a great bit of defensive work.
Steadier for the Bulldogs. Wren wins in the middle to Brown, but the whistle's gone. It's a Footscray free kick. Gee, they'll stone these umpires at the end of the game.
Holding on, and there those free kicks again. 16 to Footscray, 11 to the Crows.
West from the centre of the ground. Osborne, almost. Down in front, Kolonyuk. There's Cameron. Pittman. And eventually Tasker. Southern taps, but not read by Quill. Hart gets a good hand pass to Brown. Brown keeps it low for Modra. Offhand, free kick to Modra. Once again against Nicholson.
Yes, well, it's going to put Nicholson under pressure because that kick coming from Brown was very good. And he had to try and get a fist to the ball, and in doing so came over the shoulder of Modra.
Nicholson, just a youngster, 19 years of age, playing his 7th AFL game against the superstar Modra. Modra, goals. His 5th of the game, 3rd for the quarter. With 6.5 minutes of wind-assisted time left for the Crows. Oh, your tip's not looking as silly as when it left your lips.
It did seem a bit silly when it left my lips, didn't it? Still, there have been a few silly things coming out of my lips, but that's an area they can just get a couple more. The Crows, they're very much in this. They're getting their share of the footy. Just coming out.
You must have you're eccentric with a sense of humour. They trail by 33 points, and the Bullies come home with a breeze.
Well, I've seen some teams come back. Don't worry, Robbo.
All right. 14-5 plays, 8 goals, 8. Footscray lead. Wren gets it down, but only as far as Sexton. Sexton's kick pretty well and up and under, out towards the half-forward area. Clean bowls Liberatore. Jamison caught. In goes Liberatore. Rod Jamison. He wrenches it away from Jamison, and not bad umpiring, I would have thought. Liberatore goes up to the 50-metre line, inside that margin, goes for goal and misses. What do you think, Roscoe, about that umpiring decision out there on the right half-forward flank?
Not bad in terms of the decision to give the free kick. He was holding the cherry. Here he is here. And then you stand up, and the Crows players are waiting to see what the decision is, whether it's a ball up or not, and the Footscray blokes break free. That's a bit tough.
Centre of the ground. Rasciuto waited at the back, and he goes from half back to half forward. Southern interfering? No whistle. And well done by the youngster Ellis. Scott West just inside the boundary line. He centres to Hunter. The skipper calls for the ball, even if he's the acting skipper. Not a bad way to go.
Well, one of the reasons you don't notice Mark Hunter, I'm sure, is his kicking ability, which is leaves a little bit to be desired.
Back to Southern. He goes longer. Osborne charges at it. Front of the pack, Grant trying to tap over the top. Grabbed by Tasker. Now they're away and running. Here's the skipper to the centre of the ground. And Ben Hart has given them something on the forward line in this 3rd quarter. Modra leads. The kick in that direction. It's Pittman. Modra stays back in the goal square. It's Chalmers. I'll have it go in a minute. Chalmers hand pass back. Misses the target. Brown. Got him this time. Chalmers. Good spoil from behind Liptak. Allows West in. The spoil was from Wallace. Kicked by West wide. Ball stays in. Brown. Looking for Tregenza. Now Smart. Plenty of possessions. They haven't moved it forward. Now they've lost it.
Just another important interception there by Footscray. The little push.
Yeah, just a little. That's all you need to put the player off his kick.
Well, Scotty West has been pretty good for the Bulldogs. A short kick. And it's taken by Mark Hunter. He's just wide of centre half back. So Footscray wouldn't be too concerned, I wouldn't think. They lead by, 34 points, and they've got possession. Steve Wallace receives and then kicks it high out towards the wing, close to the line. The mark is taken out there by Barry Stanfield. 4 minutes left in this 3rd quarter. Stanfield bombs away towards half forward. That's a push in the back. Pretty obvious. The umpire was in a good position. And Grant will receive the free kick. That could be 50. No, Jamison not getting it back, but the umpire.
Yes, the replay showed, Robbo, was too much in the back.
Well, Chris Grant kicked a terrific goal in the 3rd term from the 50-metre line. This one going into a slight breeze, maybe just against him. He gets pretty good distance. The kick slews off the side of his boot, and it's out on the full. So the free kick to be taken back there by Sean Tasker.
Little Footscray group behind the goals up at that end, and I think their trip over has been well worth it.
What about
to
the
this
trip
stage.
home? It'll be all right too.
Oh,
If
won't
they
they
win.
have some fun? And actually, for the Adelaide fans, you can only sit at one end of this ground. You can't move and follow a full forward like a can at some empty grounds. But if you had expensive seats up that end and you wanted to see Modra, you missed out in the last quarter, didn't you? Never saw the action.
That's it. They didn't score.
90 plays 56. And Footscray still in front after they kicked 9 goals to nothing in a runaway second quarter. This is up towards the 50. Smart can't take the mark. Goes back to make a contest of it at ground level. And they have 3 minutes left with the breeze. Another couple of goals, or it's still a Herculean task in the last quarter into the breeze.
Well, they've only cut the lead from half-time by 7 points. Footscray led by 41. They still lead by 34. And more importantly, the Crows have only managed to kick 8 goals. So Footscray would be feeling fairly comfortable, but obviously there's still about 30 minutes of footy left. Stanfield kicks it back near the wing. That should be a free kick given away there by Grant. And it's taken. Jamison kicks it in towards half-forward. No mark. Player falls over, but the Footscray boys, the player was Groom, but it was Quill who got the ball to Cameron. Cameron's got a player running in support. It's Steve Wallace, very good. Wallace can carry the football. Decides to kick in towards half-forward, getting back, taking a good mark is Chris McDermott. And Richard Osborne a little frustrated. He had Tasker to beat and McDermott took the mark. His handball goes to Jamison. Jamison with just a little bit of space. Kicks equally as well with the left as he does with the right. High mark. No, not taken by Smart. Ball rebounds. Footscray collectively at centre-half back. It may have been a holding incident against Stanfield, and he takes the free kick at centre-half back. Free kicks now 18 to Footscray, 13 to Adelaide.
Footscray getting so many possessions, like this one to Grant, 20 metres in the clear. Grant at centre wing.
They've had 40 more kicks all up. Footscray.
Costa. It spills to the back to Osborne. He approaches 50 on the boundary line. Not a bad looking kick from Richard Osborne. Oh, poster. Well, if the Yankee scouts had seen that, they'd have contracted him to be a punt kicker over there. What a kick.
Well, some concern there. There's Mark Bickley with crutches. So a bit of a worry there. Andrew Jarman, the suspended player, on the bench also. The kick in has been taken by Chris McDermott. They just can't get any run. No one in support, so McDermott, in an unusual role, has to kick it fairly long into the centre. And Sutton appealing for the mark. He was pretty well third in line, but it's been paid. Cameron, sweeping hand pass, finds Krediuk. Krediuk goes back to Ellis. Ellis cleverly gets around 2 or 3 opponents, and then instead of bombing away, kicked it across the half-forward line, and the mark taken by Grant. Again, Chris Grant, maybe too far out to score, goes in short, and the mark has been taken by Koliniuk. So in the last minute of play in the third quarter, Steve Koliniuk has a chance to kick a score for Footscray. Bulldogs lead 91 to 56. That's a 35-point margin. And it would be an absolute injustice if Adelaide were to win this game from here. Short kick? No, go back, because the umpire's obviously blown time on.
He was trying to push him around. He hadn't gone far enough toward the boundary line, Robbo. It's a technical thing, but while the umpire's there, that's his prerogative.
And they're using up time. I reckon they've been using time since about the halfway mark of this quarter, Footscray.
Yes, not a bad ploy. The little kick by Koliniuk didn't work. McGuinness chopped it off and then kicked it wide out towards the wing. The bouncing ball goes a long way away from Mark Hunter, but strong at the football. Gave a chance to Southern. Steve Wallace combines with his fellow experienced player in Hunter. Away goes Scott West, gets onto that left foot. Kick it towards the forward line, and Thorpe, who's been, well, a bit of a surprise packet for Footscray. Discarded twice, hasn't he been, out of AFL footy?
Yes, and his stats at the moment, 3, 3, 3 and 3. So the 3 goals been very important. Could well be 4 now.
Well, this will make the margin exactly the same as it was at half-time if he can kick a goal. And that's exactly what he did. So at three-quarter time, after Alan Thorpe has kicked his 4th goal, Footscray lead by the margin that they led by at half-time. That's 41 points. The Bulldogs 15-7, Adelaide 8-8.
The Tourers are coming. Round 5 action from Lakeside, heading your way on 7 Sports.
Status quo in that quarter, 4 goals, 3 each. A 41-point lead is maintained by the Bulldogs. They lead 15-7, 97 to 8 goals, 8, 56. And the leading goal scorers for Footscray are Thorpe, who has 4, Grant and Osborne, who had 3 each. And for the Adelaide Crows, Tony Modra kicked 3 in that quarter, 5 for the game. Down on the boundary line, Neil Curley.
Thanks, Drew. I have Andrew Jarman, of course, a spectator today. But, Andrew, I know there's been a lot of build-up this week on this danger game, and it's just proved to be exactly that. Footscray have played very good footy.
Yeah, take nothing away from Footscray. They've been at the ball. They're hitting the bodies hard. Their forward lines are working well. Liberatore's been good underneath the packs, and they really are playing good football. You can't question that.
I think we can look at both sides, and we'll talk about Footscray. They've become a confident unit halfway through that second quarter. Players backing each other in, and they've got their confidence has risen, and that's the way they're playing their footy now.
Yeah, they're running in packs. They're working well. Their tackling's been ferocious, and that's obviously with Joyce coaching. Playing good. They've been playing like this for the last couple of weeks, and obviously they needed something to click for them. And look what's happened. The scoreboard tells the story.
And now over to the Crows. You just said it before coming on camera that Friday night's training was pretty lacklustre.
Yeah, it wasn't our best training run we've had for a long time, and I'm a believer you train well, you play well, and it's evident today.
And also we've picked up a couple of injuries. We've got a concussion, a bad ankle, and also a hamstring.
Yeah, a couple of the boys. Rouvre's not well. Wiedemann's sore. Bickley's got a sore foot, so we're struggling for numbers. You might have to play, Knuckler.
Well, I'd like to think I could, but I honestly can't see how the Crows can get out of this game. I think Footscray are playing far too strong. They've got their bit between their teeth, and if their fitness is at the level it should be, they'll run this game right out.
Well, this last quarter will tell how much commitment we've got for the ball and the body. We are a fit side, but it's going to be up to our midfielders to get things rolling.
I don't think they will. I expect the Footscray boys to go on with this game and win this footy match. Thanks, Jars. Back to you, Drew.
Thanks, Curls. And, of course, Andrew Jarman missing because he was suspended for 2 weeks during the week at the tribunal after a trial by video. And they probably need him in the midfield.
Well, that's where they've really fallen down today, Drew, and top marks as both Jars and Knuckles have said that through the middle, Footscray really have lifted. Liberatore, Hunter's maintained his intensity, Crediuk being very good, Cameron, Costa on a wing, and they just have had those midfield players who have fed the forward line. And if the third quarter is going to be any indication of how the Crows are going to remain in this game, well, they certainly won't remain in the game because it wasn't a good quarter for them.
Well, to say they're in the game, I think, would be just hoping for the Crows. 41 points in arrears. Wren takes it from the centre bounce, which favoured him, and he's kicked towards half forward. A good mark taken by Groom. Can't understand why that young man spends time on the bench, obviously for team balance. Goes up towards full forward. Quill taps it clear. Wallace goes further into defence, and Ellis sees it over in the right forward pocket for Adelaide. Has shown enough, I think, Craig Ellis, to justify his inclusion. Of course, Dougie Hawkins with that hamstring injury. Kick by Anderson to the goal front. Maybe helped over it is for a rush behind to Adelaide. So the first score of the last term goes to Adelaide, but they still trail by 40 points.
Footscray great, who might be watching the telecast at home, Ted Whitten. He might be happy for 2 reasons, Footscray and also Victoria, because 16 Crows are in the South Australian State of Origin squad.
In the third year in a row, Drew, they've got to go to Brisbane. And
there is a game, and their injury list is growing.
Correct.
So that's Tuesday week, that state match between Victoria and South Australia. Here's Groom, out to Anderson. Edge of the goal square, plenty of Crows there, but no mark. Well, it's taken away by Costa. He's quick, this boy. Disappointing kick. Rashuto should have taken the mark. He left it for West. Now it's wide open for the Bulldogs. Thorpe.
Mark Rashuto did everything right there. He followed his man up the ground, then dropped back when West was going to be too close to the foot. He had the perfect chance to intercept, take the mark, and all of a sudden you got a shot at goal. That's the fumble there.
Well, Thorpe's kicked 4. He kicked 3 in that last quarter. And he makes the distance and makes it number 5. Well, that is an Everest climb now for the Crows, surely. 103 to 57.
That's indicative too, Drew, when the ball went up to the forward line before and there was a pack of players flying here. normally it's the Crows who have the crummers, the players at the base of the pack to pick that spilled ball, but it's the Footscray players who are there. They defended stoutly. There's an error there, a very costly one. It cost you a goal.
It was a good kick by West in the finish too, wasn't it? Hit foot right on the chest.
This is what they didn't have earlier, Robbo.
Well, that's true, and I think you mentioned early in the telecast that was what Alan Joyce was looking for from his Footscray players.
He's played a game, West.
Oh, they crash into each other. Stephen Wallace gets it out.
It's a good kick.
It's kicked clear there by Hunter. Costa combines with Stanfield. Stanfield's kick to the goal front, and standing his ground is Tasker, and he takes the mark. Runs away and then kicks it back near the wing. And a mark out here taken by Rashuto. And the fans, by gee, they're...
got short memories, haven't they?
Yeah, they're quite quick to jump on the bandwagon. But the Crows have given them plenty of luscious moments of football here at Football Park. But today is just not going to be one of them. Bulldogs playing fierce football. They give away a free kick here. And it's now Ross 14-19 against the Crows in the free kick division. Anderson kicks across the half-forward line. Contest out there. Taken away there by Stanfield. Did he get rid of the football legally? Yes. McGuinness chips in. Kicks long. Pretty good kick by Tony McGuinness. Oh, fly and a mark. Modra. They entertain Tony.
Now the bloke who paid his money at that end is getting his money's worth.
Yes, they've gone from derisive jeers for Rashuto to an enormous roar from Modra.
Well, Modra's kick 5, and from point-blank range, he gets his 6th goal for the day. So a pretty good effort under circumstances that have been, well, restricted to say the least. Out of 9 goals, 9, he's kicked 6 goals, 1.
That's exactly right, Robbo. The way the ball normally does come down to Tony Modra, he's done very well considering it's been very haphazard, very high, wide of him. He's had Chalmers alongside of him for a while, who was a target initially. So 6 goals out of 9, as Robbo said, it's a terrific effort.
Still the margin is 40 points. I suppose 7 goals to nothing is vaguely possible in 17 minutes. But, well, they're into the breeze. Here's Liberatore. He hasn't quite cracked the 30 possession mark yet. Colin might just tip over 30 now, especially if he gives it to himself. And Colin very close to the boundary line. The ball stays in. Quick interchange. Jamieson onto McDermott. Poor kick. Tregenza. Trigger, as they call him. Up to the 50. Good disciplined punch by Southern. Hart. Top tackle by Wallace. The ball's in there. A ball up.
Well, I think that's one of the things that certainly have lifted as we see Eugene Warrior in the grandstand, one of the young Crows players, but certainly the effectiveness of tackling over the last, 5 or 6 years in particular has been enormous.
It has, yep. Players' upper body strength, Robbo's complemented that enormously. They've had the strength in their arms and bodies, and they've actually tackled at the player's body, not his arms on the footy.
Well, here's a chance for the Crows. Lip tack, throws it on his boot and gets his 2nd goal. Fans come to life. You got the feeling that a few of them, with a couple more minutes to transpire, a couple of them may have started to leave the ground, but you'll have a look around and they're still waving those flags, so they still give their team a chance. 10-9, play 16-7.
Well, certainly contrasting camps at three-quarter time, Robbo, wasn't it? We had the Crows sitting down on the ground, looking rather tired, and you had the Footscray players standing up, listening attentively to Alan Joyce, so the Crows might still look tired.
The breeze is a bit fluky. It might be more across now, so maybe Adelaide aren't running into it. Liberatore, another one to Cameron. Kretiuk back to Liberatore. He's bowled over when he didn't have it. No whistle. Strong tackling by West. Well done, son. Top stuff. And now he's holding the ball.
He got pushed from behind on top of the ball. Well, he's not happy, but Rashuto's got the footy.
Yep. Kick by Rashuto. Chalmers at the back, can't take the mark. McGuinness is in there. Crowd reckons he's legged. Umpire said, give it to me. McGuinness says he's legged. Played over 100 games for Footscray, and here he is against them.
Umpires will be lucky to get off this ground alive, won't they?
Yep.
I don't think the fans are very happy with some of the decisions that have been made, but still, if you're first in, I guess you've got a chance.
That's it.
174 kicks to Footscray, 136 to Adelaide, 85 handballs to Footscray, 96 to Adelaide, and Footscray lead by 13 marks in that area of the game. The ball to be bounced. Tony McGuinness still working hard. Knocked down. McGuinness is going to gather. Tackle by Hunter, but he got the ball to Liptak. Liptak 50 metres out, throws it on his boot, out in the Modra direction. Nicholson given a hand by Quill. Kick off the ground by Modra. Kick it off the ground, Benny Hartson. Behind. Wow, wow.
How brilliant was that kick by Modra?
Fantastic, Modra.
Looked to be right out of the contest and got it back running toward the boundary line to get it right back towards the square.
And that may have been something that could have perhaps lifted them a little bit. And time running out, 14 minutes left.
Well, if any of the players saw Modra's effort, it should lift them.
Too true.
Even though they didn't get a goal. Smart bursts through the pack, paddles the ball well for his skipper. They're mounting something here. A hand pass comes in. Tregenza! It's home! Funnier things have happened.
Yes, and Simon Tregenza is certainly renowned as not being a goal-kicking wingman. And by gee, that's one of the very important ones here. As you see here, Smart's effort. Just followed the footy up and then dived to keep it in play to the advantage of McDermott. And the replay here, good kick.
Well, Adelaide get their 11th goal. They still need 5 goals to Footscray, not able to kick a goal if they're to win. Grigic gets a big fist to it. It's gathered in the centre by McDermott. He gets it to McGuinness. McGuinness's high kick towards half forward, punched away from Ben Hart. A contest at right half forward. Brown grabbed it, then kept it. Away to Groom. Groom off the left foot. High flyer Modra couldn't take the mark. Kick off the ground was by Sexton. Back near the wing. Look at this bloke have a go, will you? If everyone had the heart as big as that bloke, it'd be a terrific contest in every game of football. Nearly caught with the football there was Rashudo. Liberatore back into the action again. Lifts his team with effort. Thorpe drops it. Visca's got a chance. He'll clear the ball. Jamison. Wider still to Brown. Run down. Tackle very good. And the ball held up. Who was that tackler? Collinwood, was it?
Yes, it was. He had the pace to grab Brown there.
Here's Neil Curley.
The Crows are coming right at them. Their fitness level seems a fraction higher, and I think the Footscray boys just starting to get back on their heels a bit.
Change being made for Footscray. Cameron coming off the ground, replaced by Robbie West, the former West Coast Eagle. But Footscray go forward again. Quill, long ball inside centre half forward. Excellent defensive mark taken by Schwert. Haven't seen too much of Schwert. 18 games, just 3 games last year. Out towards centre wing he comes. Costa had 2-1 Footscray, but they run out of room.
Bad selection there maybe by Tasco. Footscray had the numbers out here, didn't they?
Yes, well, you think he could have gone inboard, Robbo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
just
suppose
changed his tackle a little bit.
Yep.
Leon Cameron sitting on the bench. An interesting one. He's had 14 possessions. Has he been taken off uninjured? That wouldn't have happened, couldn't have happened last year. Smart takes it from Tregenza. Across the goal face. Oh, Modra, brilliant. Well done, Tony Modra, but he missed the goal.
Gee, having the crowd come to life. They're jumping high in the air in front of us here and all around the ground. There's been a little bit of intensity raised in this football match. Footscray lead, though. They're 16-7, Adelaide 11-11. But the Crows, who couldn't kick a score in the second term going to the left-hand end, all of a sudden have added 2 or 3 goals in this last quarter to bring a bit of excitement. Collinwood's kicked too far out on the full. Free kick to Chris McDermott.
3-3 to 1 goal in this last quarter.
And the short kick into the path of Anderson. Forced to kick with the right foot. Didn't go all that far with not much penetration, and Southern has taken the mark. He takes a risk. He comes to this wing. A contest here. Tregenza dispossessed. Howard didn't have the football. Gee whiz, lucky to get out of that, the Bullies. And chipping in is Scott West, and he finds the safety of the boundary line. Tregenza has lifted, had about 4 or 5 possessions in the last couple of minutes. Footscray, 26 points in front, 11 and a half minutes left, so still there's plenty of time for the Crows if they're to win this game.
McGuinness flings the ball up the ground.
Got the free kick through. He's held on for too long. Like Costa.
Well, he might be at peak fitness, but that is now 29 disposals for Tony McGuinness. From centre wing. We have just over 11 minutes left. Good kick to Smart. Pinpoint, 45-metre kick. Smart a long way from goal, though. Over the top he goes to Wren. He's still just outside the 50. So he couldn't score from there, I wouldn't think.
It's a fair kick, though, Drew. He's a fair kick.
Well, he's not happy about it. Still outside the 50. Oh, they might have lost it. Tregenza to Brown. He's in trouble. Just inside the 50. Broom to Tregenza. And Tregenza misses to the right.
He's been the player that sparked them, Ross, don't you think?
Yes.
He just looks as though he's just lifted a notch or two.
There's 12 and 9 for Tregenza, and that's an important goal also in this quarter.
Footscray under pressure now for probably the first time in the match. They've played 3 pretty good quarters, and they really need to finish it off. Anderson tackled by Robbie West. He goes back in after it again. The ball all tied up there. Greg Anderson and Robbie West. And at right half forward for the Crows, probably 2 kicks from their goal, the umpire will be forced to bounce. 16-7, plays 11-12. The difference is 25 points in favour of Adelaide. A big punch by Grigic, goes out towards the wing, knocked away by Quill close to the line, and Stephen Schwert sees it over, and the Crows fans, well, maybe reason to be concerned, because they've put in one of their more miserable performances this afternoon, and it's only been in the last 10 or 12 minutes that you could say that they've put some sort of credibility into their performance. Footscray at half-back, knocked away by Wallace. Colin gets a little kick, squeezes it down the wing. McDermott, good vision. Jamieson uses the ball pretty well, gets onto his right foot, kicks in towards half-forward. Excellent mark taken by Groom. A definite height advantage there over Danny Southern. And Groom...
Have a ping, I think, Robbo.
Well, we've seen those flags on the far side. Drew seems to think that they may be a little fluky, the breeze. So Chris Groom now, good kick, right to the line. Oh, at the back, Modra flew, couldn't take the mark, and it's helped over for a rush behind of the Crows. So a real surge by Adelaide. Have a look at these now. Chalmers in the middle, Modra at the back, no mark, and a kick in to be effected.
Well, once he got up to the second story window, he probably should have taken the mark. Modra? Well, Groom again. Now they're really mounting a challenge. McDermott, Modra's there, can't take the mark. Burrowing through Cretiuk. Nicholson goes backwards. And he hasn't found the safety of out of bounds. Colin well shepherded by Nicholson. Colin oh no, on the 50. Brown should have marked it. Thumps it back, out in the pocket. Liptak does well to keep it in. Southern to Colin and the kick by Steve Colin bouncing McDermott. Can't keep it in, and we'll have a throw in. The margin is 24 points, 4 straight kicks, 8.5 minutes left.
Panic stations by Footscray. They haven't scored for a long time,
No,
Ross.
quite
and
right.
They're just kicking to nowhere.
Yes, and that's what Curl said earlier too. A few of them are on their heels, and they're just a bit concerned at the moment. They probably haven't been in this position for such a long time, Robbo.
Yes,
controlling
that's true.
a game as they have.
Well, Anderson's quick kick off his right foot has been marked by Groom. He plays on, back to Anderson. Anderson off the left foot in towards half forward, and Modra's got it.
He's the other player, Tregenza. The 2 wingmen have really lifted. Anderson was well out of the game in the first half. He's now up to 15 and 5. Not only that, he's actually used the ball quite well.
Well, Modra's been very good. We've already mentioned his importance to the Crows. He's kicked 6 goals out of their 11. He had kicked 6 out of 9. So he's going for his 7th goal with 8 minutes left, and he makes no mistake. 7 goals out of 12, and the difference now, just 3 straight kicks.
And there is still time with just over or just under 8 minutes remaining. And Groom again, Robbo, you mentioned earlier on why he spends a bit of time on the bench, but he's been very good at centre-half forward this last quarter.
Well, Footscray led by 41 points at three-quarter time. The margin's back to 18 and time left for the Crows. Southern gets back to take the mark. The time is 7.5 minutes remaining. The kick by Southern to Robbie West. He gets the ball out here to Quill. Half forward Grant. Towards the boundary line of beats Rashuto and will have a throw in.
Yeah, Robbie West has moved on to Simon Tregenza with his pace. Robbie West fresh, of course, and a very quick player. Good move by Alan Joyce.
Grant contesting the boundary throw in. Wren very high to Rashuto. Wren comes out with it. McGuinness lost sight of it for a moment. West, did he walk it over the line? No. Hunter. Wide to Thorpe. He beats off Visca. Keeps it in. Thorpe goes for goal. Oh, it would nearly crunch the Crows if he kicks that one behind. Anyway, it is now 3 goals 1, so it might nearly be worth a goal.
Well, I think Footscray just have to remember that they must keep scoring. If you just stand back and allow the opposition to dictate, they'll pitch the game from you. Tasker kicks straight down the ground, no messing around, in the square. Good mark, Jamison. Geez, a skilled player. He's at centre-half back. He's got to move it quickly, and he does with a long kick to centre-half forward. Contest back there, taken away by Ellis. He's held, didn't have the football.
Gee, pretty good free kick that was.
So he will take the free kick, and he's at centre-half back. It's not Ellis, it's Ben Sexton. And he goes across the other side of the ground. It's not allowed. And the umpire asks him to come back and do it once again.
This is the Jamison grab over Robbie West.
Sexton's kick goes out towards the wing. Ellis is there, punched away, back near the centre. A little awkward, but well done by Quill. Has one bounce and then kicks across his body with a wobbly old torpedo pump kick that goes out on the full, and that is one area of Peter Quill's game. Gee, he gets it a lot, but doesn't quite use it as much as he could. 16 possessions, and an important stage of the game. Adelaide have possession. It's Rashuto. A lovely long kick to half forward. Well done by Nigel Smart. Gets it to McGuinness. In turn to Brown. On his favoured left side. May go for goal. Look at this kick by David Brown. Oh, gee whiz, that was close. Scrambles through for a behind, but 6 minutes left. Again, 18 points the advantage in favour of Footscray. 104 to 86.
Oh, they look as though they'll just get to the line, Footscray. But there's time left. Anderson, good mark. And he outmarked Grigich there, the 2 number 1s. Modra leading from near the goal square. It's in that direction. He got pushed out. No whistle. Oh, I agreed with the crowd. But anyway, here's Robbie West. Kicked by West up towards centre wing to Scott West. And Grant is there as well. Up towards the 50. Osborne. He keeps it in. And goes goalwards, Richard Osborne, with a confident bounce. Left foot kick, not so confident, but here's Thorpe. Oh, he should have marked that too. He's still got a chance. Is he legged? It's back to Osborne. A comedy of errors. It's out of bounds on the full.
You couldn't believe that, could you?
No.
If you're sitting at home in Barclay Street, West Footscray, barracking like blazes for the Dogs. Gee whiz. Chris McDermott takes the kick in. Under 5 minutes left. McDermott goes to centre-half back. Crows need 3 goals in excess of to win the game. Pittman goes straight down the ground. Punched away by Stanfield. Ball rebounds. Colin-Uke made a bit of a contest of it. Crediuke's got the football. Can give the hand pass back in towards centre-half back. Steve Wallace. Nice little kick. And possession football by the Bulldogs. Colin-Uke has it as time ticks away. Precious seconds for both sides. Adelaide trying to score. Footscray protecting an 18-point advantage. Stanfield is just forward of the wing. His kick goes into that left half forward region. High flyer. Grant couldn't take the mark. Thorpe. Handball away. Liberatore and Jamison. Jamison sees it over. So we'll have a boundary throw in, and maybe the Bullies can hang on. It's ticking down now to 4 minutes. They lead by 18 points.
The free kick spread is not that great, 20-17. It was about a 2-to-1 ratio earlier. Here's Grant. 4 minutes left. 3 goals the difference. Just hanging on, Footscray. They've kicked 1 goal, 1 in this last quarter. And the Crows have been a bit wasteful. They've kicked 4 goals, 6. So they could nearly have won it. Jamieson. Fancy them being 41 points down at three-quarter time.
Well, Footscray win the game, Drew. They were in a similar position last week. They, against North Melbourne the last quarter, they virtually kicked themselves out of the game. They had chances to win. They kick about 5 points, I think, that last quarter.
Grant in ruck against Wren. Wren with the height down to Jamieson. It's up short of centre wing. A break here for the Crows. Liptak to Brown. Brown's kick. Groom. Awkward half volley. Couldn't grab it. Stanfield. Wallace. Kolonyuk. Inside the 50. Southern's there and takes a terrific mark. No, he doesn't. Couldn't quite hold it long enough. Wren to Jamieson. And the Crows have another chance. They need 3 goals to get level. 3 minutes left.
Ooh, lucky didn't get 50 metres there. Dragged him to the ground.
But he just held on to him long enough and knew the handball was over the top.
Anderson in towards the centre. Punched away there by Krediuk. I'd nearly give him votes. He started this onslaught by Footscray, playing well in the centre of the ground. Grant looking for the free kick, not forthcoming, tries to crash his way through. Wren gets it to Tregenza. He loves to carry the football, Simon Tregenza, up towards the 50-metre line. And a good grab from behind, taken by Ben Sexton. Goes to the far side. The kick maybe a little too far. No, Watts has got the chance to recover his position. Kicks down towards the wing. Gather by Southern was very good. Away to Big Ilya Grigic. His kick towards half forward has been marked by Wren. So with just over 2 minutes left, you would think that Footscray could hang on. And deservedly so. Rasciuto's kick from the back end of the square towards half forward. Punched away from Groom by Stanfield. Rebounds to Liberatore. Lovely hand pass to Krediuk. Krediuk goes wider still to Robbie West. West in towards full forward. Covers the 2 players. And look, the race is on here. Costa off the ground. Oh, what's he done? It's a goal. Kim Costa off the ground has sealed the fate of the Crows by kicking his first goal. Footscray 17-8. Lead the Crows 12-14.
Yes, and again, Liberatore at the bottom of the pack just setting up his teammates. And Costa, how ironic that the ex-South Australian just seals the fate of his home state's team.
He was quick,
and he was very lively. I mean, Swert is no slow coach, and neither is Visca. And just to keep his balance, he did very well.
Well, yeah, Kim Costa would be wearing the red singlet, I reckon, at Stawell. He'd be a back marker. Here's Liberatore. Nearly 40 possessions for Libba. Fantastic game. Watts, number 25. Anderson. The players even just chasing, not getting possessions, but chasing's been a hard thing today in such heat. Nearly 30 degrees in Adelaide. McDermott, minute and a half to go. The last rites of this game being played out now. Brown, centre of the ground. Kick by Brown. Looks for Modra. Good kick.
If he kicks up, well, it's a fair effort, isn't it?
My word. Well, this is a chance to kick his 8th.
8 out of 13.
So, Tony Modra, 35 metres from goal. That is number 8. No, it's not.
Well, umpire never moved.
Didn't move, and then he only gave him 1 flag. Interesting one, that. So it is now 7 goals, 3 and 1 out of bounds for Tony Modra. 53 seconds left.
Ellis kicks into the far side. Contest out there made difficult by Grigic, coming in at the last minute. West's kick. That's Robbie West. Ball rebounds for Ben Hart. His kick. Oh, Modra misjudged that. Able to get back onto it? No. Footscray will clear. No, they won't. Wallace's kick smothered off the boot by Liptak. And a real struggle for possession there. Craig Ellis, Steve Wallace. And in the finish, Liptak. But nothing happening. Footscray by 23 points. It'll be a great victory by the Bulldogs. because 2 weeks ago they replaced their coach and their performances over the last 3 weeks have been fantastic. Crows a chance here. Brown, a little pop shot, and it's a goal. So David Brown gets his first goal, and with just seconds left, Footscray led by 41 points at three-quarter time. It's been cut back now to 17.
And important problem at the moment for Adelaide is that Modra's been in the hands of the trainers for a few minutes now while this is going on, with Brown kicking the goal. He might have got a bit of a jar in his knee or an ankle, so they can ill afford to lose him for next week as well.
Crows have Brisbane at the Gabba next week. Grigic in the middle. This will be a remarkable, fantastic victory. Adelaide were 8-1 on in betting, and there is the siren. Footscray have beaten them, and the man who finished with the ball, Tony Liberatore, was spectacular in his endeavours. Nearly 40 possessions. What a victory by the Bulldogs. You don't often see Adelaide beaten at Football Park. In fact, it's nearly a year to the day since they last lost here, and that was to Hawthorn. So Footscray get their second win in their history over here. So twice in 2 years they've won at Football Park, which is good going.
Yes, and Alan Joyce's record away from home is quite good, Drew. 8 wins from 13 trips away, which includes obviously his efforts with Hawthorn. And he said last year with Hawthorn when he came over here, they'd come off 2 losses and a bye, and they were the only team last year, Hawthorn, to win here. So he had some confidence coming here today.
And the Footscray players are going down to acknowledge the fact that their fans down behind that left-hand goal have been with them all day.
They've been under a bit of pressure, haven't they?
It certainly is a job well done for the supporters to get over here and just give a little bit of voice for the visiting teams, because it must be a daunting task that's set coming to play Adelaide.
Well, it's as difficult a task, I think, Robbo's going in the old days to Windy Hill, Victoria Park, down to Moorabbin. And you know how tough that was for opposition supporters, and you had probably maybe a third of supporters there. Here it's what it's like a 1/40th.
Well, they'll have a good trip home, Drew.
Oh yes. But what about those supporters? How will they get home?
I think the buses will be laden with a bit of the
well, they've got an extra day to get there.
Product.
Yes. I don't think they'll have any problems worrying about the time.
Well, so Footscray have done it, inspired by a 9-0 second quarter, and they've won here by 17 points. Now down to the boundary line and Neil Curley.
Yes, we have Tony, one of the best, well, I think the best player on the ground today. And Tony, that was a fantastic team effort.
Fantastic team effort, Neil. The boys are really pumped up to do well. Alan's been fantastic, you know, for the past couple of weeks, and we've really trained hard, and it's a credit to the boys. You know, we really wanted the ball badly, and just goes to show if you want the ball badly enough, you can win the game. Doesn't matter where you go.
I think that was the big difference in the first half, particularly the second quarter, where you boys hunned in packs, attacked the ball strongly, and started to get some confidence among the rest of the players.
Well, that's exactly right. You know, football's a pretty basic game, and you know, if you want the ball badly enough, and you're always in control of the ball, then you'll do it very, very well.
Thanks, Tony. Well done on your own game. It was a fantastic one. All the best. Back to you, Drew.
On your curls. Well, what a libber. They missed one Brownlow medalist, Scott Wine, but the other one inspired the victory here. Fantastic performance. Footscray 17-8, 110, defeating Adelaide. It's a silent crowd here. 13-15-93.
St Kilda and Richmond. Our Anzac Day special right here on 7 Sport tomorrow.